Sit down. Be humble.
Welcome in Out of Bounds here on 103.7 The Buzz. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody had a wonderful Labor Day weekend, as there's going to be so many things that we're going to try to get into here on the show, and we want to hear from you. We're going to treat it like a Reaction Monday, but we're going to call it a Reaction Tuesday, presented by Fleet Management Services. And when you get to those reactions, we want to hear from you. You can call or text in at 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors. And today, in the 2 o'clock hour, Coach Matt Zimmerman will be joining us as he was able to be there on the call, for part of the call at least, for the Razorback game here in War Memorial. So he's going to come on and tell us about that and some of the things that were going on there at War Memorial Stadium I know he wants to get into. So we'll have him on in 2 o'clock. And then at 3 o'clock, or at least in the 3 o'clock hour, we are going to be joined by Razorback offensive lineman Joshua Braun. He started for Arkansas over the weekend, and we're going to talk to him about that game and about moving forward. And it's all thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance. So looking forward to having him a part of Out of Bounds each and every Tuesday, as it'll vary as far as times go. We try to be flexible around his schedule, but it will always be on Tuesday. So we appreciate him coming on, and also appreciate Matt Black, Allstate Insurance, for making it possible too. So it's going to be fun to get into that. We'll have best and worst of the weekend. I mean, Joe, that's what we love about 3-day weekends for the most people out there. Maybe not for everybody, but at least for us, not only is it a 3-day weekend, but this time for Labor Day, the amount of storylines, the amount of college football games, the amount of craziness that goes on, it's going to make this show almost like an easy Friday show for how much we got to get into.
There was so much going on over the weekend. We look forward to recapping everything that did go on over the weekend. And there's just a lot to sort through with some of the teams, some of the conferences, and some of the successes there, some of the failures.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot that happened over the weekend.
Oh, yeah. So we'll try to make it all work and get into all the games that we possibly can. But, starting with the Razorback game, some we would look forward to is seeing the kickoff of the season. And people had their predictions, just like we made last week, not only for this game, but for the season itself. We had expectations, we had excitement, and we know it's only one game, but got to give a lot of credit to the Razorbacks. They came out from the get-go and dominated and never really looked back. They win by a final score of 56-13, taking care of business and really looking impressive in a lot of aspects. But we'll dive into not only the offense, defense, some things that were great and maybe some things that were concerning. But I was really impressed by the fact that for once it seemed like Arkansas came out strong from the start. Offensively, they were able to get 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. They were up 21-3 by the end of the first quarter. KJ Jefferson looked really crisp. He was making really good decisions. Saw some big plays by some wide receivers. And again, I know it's one game. I know it's Western Carolina, but I just like the fact that it wasn't this slow start. Oh, how's this going to go? Oh, they get behind, like we saw so much last season or even part of the season before. You came out against a team even with a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, like a lot of newness. You came out on a hot day there in Little Rock with all the traveling and everything, and you stepped up and took care of business from the get-go. That's what you should do against a team like that. That's what you should do in a game like that, to not only have your starters be really good, but also get some reps for some of the backups. But, I mean, overall, I know nothing's perfect, but overall, I came away from the game very pleased and very happy with the performance by the Razorbacks.
KJ was playing in the fourth quarter, so not a lot of people like that. But for his time in there, he really did some good things. And then Jacoby Criswell comes on, and there was excitement about when he won the game. And people were looking forward to that way before it happened. But once he goes in there, he throws a touchdown and looks really good just running the offense at the time.
Yeah, it was nice to see the backup quarterback come in, not because of injury, but because they're trying to get extra reps. The game wasn't that type of stressful game where you had to put KJ in. But, there's some rhyme and reason, and I'm sure they're wanting to get as many reps for their QB1 as possible. But, yeah, seeing KJ go 18 of 23, 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he completed his first 12 passes of the game. So, again, just really crisp for him. The wide receivers, a lot of love to all of them, as Andrew Armstrong had 5 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. Jaden Wilson started off the game in style, where he had 3 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. His biggest one being that 65-yard touchdown to start the game there on, I think it was the second play of the game. And then Isaac Teslaw, 3 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown. So that was a really cool thing to, everyone brings up, oh, who's going to be the dominant receiver? Who's going to be the go-to guy? Again, I know it's one game, but seeing how it got shared a lot, and you had 3 different guys from KJ Jefferson at least catch a touchdown pass, and Davion Dozier caught one later from Criswell. But just seeing those different wide receivers be involved into the game plan is a nice change, where it's like, hey, people wondered about these transfers, these guys that came from smaller schools. Well, they're looking pretty good, at least in the first game.
It's good to see that they're making that connection too with KJ and the receivers. So a lot of those were on target. We always see the number of targets as opposed to the number of receptions, and there weren't many that were missed. KJ was 18 of 23, so only 5 passes missed throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really complain about that. And I know people, it's always about coming out of the game healthy, which we'll dive into. But I think the biggest, you want to call it a concern or maybe a little bit of a surprise, was the fact that Arkansas could not get anything in the rushing attack going. Like nothing. Like Rocket Sanders, preseason All-SEC guy, preseason All-American. He's going out there and he's getting 15 carries for only 42 yards. I mean, it's, again, I know it's one game, so nothing needs to be overreactionary, which I'm sure no one will overreact to anything that happened over this college football weekend. But, I was a little surprised. I was like, hey, if there's one thing you can count on, be Rockets, and it wasn't just him, AJ Green, just the offensive line, getting some sort of push, open up some sort of holes, and there was really nothing doing in the rushing attack.
The thing that's more concerning with Rocket is the yards per carry. Now, the others, it's not like they were dominant in the run game, but they had more average yards per carry. So the run game overall, it goes through Rocket. And if there was an issue against Western Carolina, you can imagine how people start thinking about what it could be as a problem against other defenses, especially when you get into conference play. But one game, and we'll see what happens in the next game. And if there's a build and it continues to look better as the games go on.
Yeah, because let's be honest, I think it was 2.8 yards a carry. If you do that 3 straight times, you're still not getting a first down. That's not the type of running back or running attack that you want to have from the average yards per game. But, big improvement, hopefully, from week 1 to week 2. But the offense looked good. And honestly, Joe, the defense, I was impressed, especially with the secondary. They were able to get 4 interceptions. They were closing in on the ball. There was not really any big plays given up, which is also a nice change of pace. And I think they tackled well. They were physical up front. I liked what I saw overall from the defense. It's a small sample size, but
yeah, that's nothing to get excited about either at this point.
No, it's not. And that's why I'm not saying, oh man, now they're back. But just basing it off of what has happened before and last year, even against teams like Western Carolina, they were still giving up big plays. They were still having breakdowns on defense, and didn't see too many of that. So hopefully that's some confidence that you can build upon. Hopefully that's something that you can continue to work towards. But scoring 56 points, which is the most points ever scored in the Sam Pittman era, which is probably pretty wild to think. That is, again, you got to be at least happy with the result. I don't think anyone's mind is going to, I thought 7-5, but after that game against Western Carolina, now I'm saying 9-3. Like, you're doing that, maybe that's a little bit overreactionary, but still, you did what you were supposed to do against the team you're supposed to do it against, and you got to be at least happy with the result and moving forward into the next week.
Yeah, not a lot that you can necessarily take from this game other than they scored 56 points. And then Western Carolina kicks a field goal at the end of the game. Don't know what the purpose of that was. If there was, because, you're not even covering the spread at that point, if there was even a question about that. But maybe they were working on something with their kicker, and they wanted to see how far out their kicker would be able to kick field goals. There are always things you can work on. But at that point in the game, doesn't make a lot of sense to kick a field goal.
I, for one, was thrilled because I took the over at 66.5. And so by hitting that and get to 69 points, nice. I get the over hit. So I was happy they kicked the field goal. But it was a little strange, though, to see, like, all right, well, I mean, get your points when you can, I guess. Go out there and try to make the best of it.
So the over-under went up quite a bit then, because it started at 62.5.
Yeah, and I got in on it late because I was messing around a little bit and then decided to really pull the trigger on it, but got in on it late and got the over, so I was happy from it. But again, overall performance I think was good for the most part, and Doesn't mean that there's not things to work on, but definitely plenty to discuss. But we'll have, of course, all of your reactions, too, if you want to get in what you thought about the Razorback football game against Western Carolina. 501-661-1037 is the number to call or text in. If we're taking a first break, let's go ahead and squeeze Tori, who's in North Little Rock. What's up, Tori?
What's going on, guys? How are y'all today?
Good. Doing great, man.
Good. Just I want to touch on a couple things. One of the things you touched on, yeah, we took care of business. But how cool was it not that you can take a lot from this game, but how many times in the past few years has it not gone that way? Teams were supposed to dominate, and I've heard, you guys and callers talk about over the last few years, this should be over by halftime, and we should be seeing backups. And it's like Coach Pittman said, it wasn't I didn't get to play, it's how did I play. So I was excited about that aspect, the fact that we actually did what we were supposed to do, with the outlier being like UAPB a couple years ago. We haven't just put teams away that we were supposed to. At any rate, we haven't. So it was cool to see us come out and do that aspect. And then secondly, I just want to say I was able to go to the game with my buddy Mike and my son TJ, and I was just, because of you guys, because of the buzz. So I just want to let you know I really appreciate you guys being able to, my son and I being able to make those memories because of you guys. Because being a single dad, I wouldn't have been able to go and afford the ticket if it wasn't for you guys. So I just wanted to tell you guys how much I appreciated you and the buzz for allowing us to go and make those memories. Even though I'm a black dude and I literally have sunburn on my forehead, it was that bad.
Happy you enjoyed it, Tori.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Glad you enjoyed the game.
So I appreciate you guys, like I said. And like I said, it was cool just to see us come out and actually dominate for once and do exactly what we're supposed to do. A lot of the time those games are, 17-6 or something like that. And you're like, come on, guys, put them away so we can see some backups.
Yeah, that's what we want. Hey, Tori, we appreciate the phone call. We got to run, though. We got more Reaction Tuesday coming up next on Out of Bounds.
Join the Zone this Friday in Bryant at the Reliance Bank location on Highway 5. It's the Zone this Friday from 10 to 1, live from Reliance Bank in Bryant.
This is Sports Center.
Arkansas took care of business over the weekend, beating Western Carolina 56-13. Coach Sam Pittman spoke to the media yesterday about what he saw from the offensive line in Game 1.
I wish we would have knocked them off the ball more. We had opportunities in some double teams, and I felt like our shoulder angle was off. To be specific with you, when the linebacker and the combinations behind you, you got to stay vertical as you can, and you got to work that more. That's one of the things we've got to clean up.
Arkansas now turns the page to Kent State, who they host in Fayetteville on Saturday. The Golden Flashes lost to the Knights of UCF 56-6 in Week 1. Kickoff time for the game will be at 3 p.m. TV coverage will be on SEC Network. Radio coverage will be on The Buzz. I'm Christian Weaver with The Buzz Radio Network.
This is Trey Reed from the Wild Side on 103.7 The Buzz, inviting you to join Mark Hedrick and me Tuesday nights at 7 p.m.
Brought to you by West Rock Landing at Lake Maumelle, Edwards Food Giant, all about tire and brake, battery outfitters, and Trader Bill's Outdoors, Hot Springs, and Little Rock locations.
It's the Wild Side, Tuesday at 7 p.m., only on 103.7 The Buzz.
Fort Thompson's in Sherwood is paying your sales tax. 2 days only, September 8th and 9th. Everything included: guns, clothes, waiters, booths, stands, decoys. Get ready for hunting season at Fort Thompson's in Sherwood. Visit ftthompson.com.
River Valley Tractor, your leading Kubota dealer of Central Arkansas. River Valley Tractor is closer than you think. A company that cares for you is right around the corner. RiverValleyTractor.com. With 5 great locations to better serve you, visit River Valley Tractor in Bryant, Sherwood, Conway, Russellville, or Pine Bluff today, or find them at rivervalleytractor.com. Work smarter, not harder with River Valley Tractor. River Valley Tractor, closer than you think.
Have you gone by to check out Summerwood Sports in Bryant yet? It's the newest state-of-the-art sports complex in Central Arkansas with 2 full basketball courts along with 4 volleyball courts and 2 connecting side-by-side gyms, and they can accommodate sporting events of any shape or size. Conveniently located on Highway 5 at the Bryant Parkway exit, right off I-30 in Bryant, the Summerwood Sports Complex is ready to host your team's next practice, tournament, or private training sessions. Be sure to check out all of the options and availability at summerwoodsports.com today.
RJ Hawk here with Chris Roberts from Southern Bank. And Chris, I know interest rates are high right now. That's what everybody's talking about. But if you're thinking about a project, whether it be a commercial project or you want to build a house, now's the time to come talk to you about what those future plans may look like.
You know, RJ, no matter what the business environment may be, we're always there to sit down with our customers and talk about their future plans and what's going on with their businesses.
And that's one thing about Southern Bank is they're a community bank. They want to be your partner.
Partnering with our customers is a key to how we do business.
And Chris, you know, we talk about those interest rates being high, but the one good news out of that is deposit rates.
We have some great CD and checking account rates. Just give us a call and see what one of our personal bankers can do for you.
If you want more information about interest rates or those deposit rates that we just talked about, call Chris and his team today at 501-424-0900 or go online at bankwithsouthern.com. Southern Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Roger Scott, I'm going to talk to you about Sigma Supply Packaging Products and how they think outside the box. Sigma Supply, the problem solvers. Now, they've been helping business owners for years with their waste audit analysis program. They're going to come in, they're going to analyze your packaging and shipping and see if automation is what you need to cut costs. Call or text sales manager David Breitenberg with Sigma Supply, and you can schedule your waste audit analysis. Here's the number, 501-617-4600. Sigma Supply Packaging Products. If you're not using Sigma Supply, you got low-grade product, man.
It's football time in Arkansas. Step up to the line of scrimmage each Tuesday during Drive Time Sports for Scoop and Score with me, Kevin Bohannon. I'll give you the latest news and information about anything football from high school to college in the Natural State. Special thanks to the Wood family of dealerships in Batesville for making this all happen.
Get only the best customer service and the best selection of meats at Hoggs Meat Market, where they have sliced boarhead deli meats and cheeses. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Complete, lots of room. Jaden Wilson's got a chance to go inside the 40, inside the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Arkansas. Touchdown, Arkansas. Isaac Tesla threw the home run block. Jaden Wilson scores the touchdown, and they're excited at War Memorial Stadium.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Give me something I can feel. Light a cigarette just so I can breathe. Give me something. 700 feet off the coast of green. Give me something. No reservation, pulling 20 deep. I'll trade it all just to be at peace. Stop, the gear's too high, this is overload. And no matter what car is sitting outside, it's a lonely road. It's a double-edged sword, cutting off ties with the ones I know. So tell me how am I still alive? It's a miracle. And I can't believe it went through a being Louis V. It's what I need right now. It's just my need. And the gates of hell on VIP. Everybody waits in line. So give me something I can feel. Some 28, 7, 50 V. Give me something real. I was in my D, sipping burgundy. Give me something I can feel.
It's Reaction Tuesday, presented by Fleet Management Services. Appreciate everybody listening in this afternoon. Want to get to your reactions of the college football weekend or the Razorback weekend. What do you make of the Razorbacks right now? You're making that game. You excited? You pumped up more than you were before? Let us know. Call in and text in. 501-661-1037 is that number. Also, the Asher Record Live fan feedback after me on Twitter at Buzz John Nabors. And I already have a few people on the Southern Structural Solutions text line chiming in. This comes from the 501, and apparently this particular individual is not too happy because he said that second half line was the Hoggs minus 14, and that dumbass field goal made them cover the second half.
No.
Oh, man. So, yeah, 501 on that Bet Saracen app, man. That'll get you. That's
Somebody
the frustrating.
was paying attention, though. Somebody on that coaching staff.
Yeah, that's what I started thinking about, too. I was like, man, somebody's got something over there. One of the coaches or one of the people involved in the program, they know a little something of what's going on. That's the only reasonable explanation. This comes from the 501, says, O-line looked bad. Defensive line wasn't impressive. Despite Hudson Clark, the secondary looked better, and I'm getting real tired of Pittman's outward disdain of Little Rock and the Fanes there. I don't see that at all. I did not start up with that. I didn't get that vibe, but I wouldn't say the offensive line looked bad. It's just, I mean, they pass protected. They just weren't. They didn't do as good as what you were hoping to see. I don't think they look bad necessarily because, you got to open up the holes for them. But also, I think that there's times Rocket danced around a little too much too. It's just a conscientious effort. But I don't think anything was bad in this game overall. Things that need work, things that may not be so good. But it's hard to, when you beat a team 56-13, say like, this thing was really bad.
It's ultimately what we're used to is Arkansas being dominant in the run game. And so that's something that is out of the norm. But it luckily came against a team that you don't necessarily need that right away. But it's one of those things. It's a coaching point. It's something you want to improve on. And you want to be better down the line.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be. That's what the first week of the season is. And, I hate to even use the line, but I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Houston. It sounds like Houston, but he's like, a lot of teams would like to be 1-0 right now. This is like, hey, you're 1-0. You're 14 wins away from the national championship. So keep that in mind. But hey, listen, I know that there was some great games that happened over the weekend, but the SEC did not look too hot, man. Like you had not only Florida losing last week, which we talked about, but LSU got handed to him by Florida State in that second half. And I think you were on Florida State Island on the pick, so good pick on that one. But, man, that I was not expecting. I thought Florida State, there was a good chance they'd win because they're a good team. But to see them dominate in the second half, that was surprising to me.
Yeah, they scored 24 straight points before LSU was able to put something together at the end. And the fact that Florida State scored an additional touchdown, then that led LSU to probably put a little bit more into it and score a late touchdown themselves. But when Florida State scored at the time, it's not like LSU was calling timeout. So it was almost them just kind of really putting it to LSU at the end.
They wanted to make a statement, and they had all the momentum, and that was a huge win for them. So you had that, and South Carolina losing their game against North Carolina in that one, which I was
early in that game. It looked like it was going to be back and forth and be a shootout.
Yeah, and then it's crazy. It's still crazy to me that Mac Brown is still coaching not only major college football but doing a dadgum good job of it. Like that guy's just a great coach, plain and simple. Texas should have never gotten rid of him. Like they should have let him keep rolling it out because he can win anywhere. But kudos to him, and that's a South Carolina team that had a lot of expectations, but that offense for South Carolina struggled. And I think what was it that's of course, now his name escaped me. The quarterback, Spencer Rattler, he threw for like 350 yards, but no touchdowns. Like that's not a good sign when you got that much yardage, but no touchdowns thrown along with it. Like you can't do that. But
he can't do it all on his own. There's definitely some help that he has to have. But there was one of the receivers that was pretty impressive, number 17, and he got banged up a little bit and had to spend some time on the sidelines, and that had an effect on their offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be perfect in that game one, and they're playing big opponents. Like, not everybody is playing big-time opponents to start, so it's a tough thing, no doubt. We got a lot of people calling in and texting in. We're going to try to work through them as best we can. Let's go to Savage, who's in Cabot. What's up, Savage?
What's up, fellas? John, you talked about it. Rick, you talked about it. It's out of the norm whenever we come out and we're a passing team. We look good as passing, and the run game's not taking off like everybody hopes it should be in years past. But to call and complain, man, that's a big bonus. If the passing game could come out, put some numbers up, and did he dance around? Sure. I like the freshman. I guess it was the fourth running back that came in. I can't think of his last name.
Gustav.
Man, he looks good. He hits the hole. But John, talk about LSU's coach. Now he said that his team thought they were somebody else, thought they want to be like Georgia and these other top. Last time you're the coach.
Yeah.
If they thought something, you taught it to them. So to throw your team underneath the bus is crazy to me. So that kind of shows a little sign of what kind of coach he is. Because whatever them kids are thinking, you're supposed to teach it to them. Guys, y'all have a good one.
I appreciate it, Savage. Yeah, Brian Kelly after the game. I mean, I guess when I'd have to go back and listen to it again, but I at the time I didn't take it as some sort of throwing his team under the bus. But you're right, though, Savage. At the end of the day, you are the coach. And for him to kind of come out and say, we thought we were a different team. We thought we were the two-time defending champs, Georgia. I think that kind of sums up what at least I thought when watching the game late in the second half. Not saying LSU gave up, but they certainly they folded, and it looked like they maybe were feeling themselves too much. Maybe they thought that they had arrived, and it didn't show. So, and he knows his team, and if that's what Brian Kelly is talking about his team and their problems and saying that was the issue, I'm gonna have to believe him because he knows his team a lot better than me. But I kind of got that vibe in that game.
He's sending a message to the team, but also he did go on to say, and that starts with me. So. Yeah. He said those words about we're not the team that we thought we were or expected to be, but he did go on to say that starts with me. So he took blame and he took accountability for it. He didn't put it off on the players. He's just saying they need to be better as a team.
Yeah, I was saying I didn't take it like that. Again, just from when I first heard it, but LSU is still going to be a team that will be fine. They got a schedule in front of them that's going to be tough, but they lost to Florida State last year. Granted, they didn't get smoked. It was a back and forth crazy ending game, but they'll be back. They got Grambling, I think, this weekend. Then they go on the road to Mississippi State, and then you have Arkansas at home. So I certainly didn't lose any sleep by LSU losing, but they're going to be fine, and they're going to be a team that's still going to be a force to be reckoned with. Let's go to Ryan in Hot Springs. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, my only issue with that though is supposedly last week though he was running his mouth about how they were going to just beat the dog out of the Seminoles. So I just, you can't say you're going to beat somebody like that and then turn around. Even if you did take accountability for his actions as well, you still can't dump on your team like that either. I'm just saying. But, the reason why I called is because, this fan base, man, it wouldn't have, if we'd have ran for 200 yards and only threw for 150 yards, they'd be griping about something. So, I mean,
hey,
I'm just saying.
Ryan, it's just funny because, and it's not like I'm laughing at you. I'm just saying in general because fans, man, they're just like that everywhere. I mean, you got people wanting Brian Kelly fired. It's funny to just see.
Oh yeah, LSU fans are not happy.
Yeah, but that's what they are though, because everyone cares so much about it. Even when you win, it's like, okay, that's good, but we're not going to have a chance against Bama if we don't do this. Like it's just how they are. It's how it's always going to be.
Well, it's the fact that I'm worried about this run game, bro. Number one, Sam Pittman has shown you he's going to be able to get the ball moving on the ground. That's not going to be an issue. And he knows his offense has shown that they can move the ball on the ground. So quit your worrying. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the show because that's the best looking passing game I've seen out of Arkansas in a long time. I mean, we attacked the middle of the field. We attacked down the field. What more could you ask for? We hit a couple screens too. They hit every area of the passing game we needed to do, and I felt like that needed to be on display front and center. We know what we're going to get out of the run game. That's my two cents. I hope y'all have a great day and go Hogs.
I appreciate it, Ryan. Thanks for calling in. I mean, I think that there's logic behind, sometimes fans want to see something, and if they see something differently, then they think it's a concern. Because honestly, Joe, what we heard during the whole fall camp was, pass protection was bad. And they weren't doing a good job of protecting the quarterback. And then when this game happened, I think KJ only had one sack, although I did laugh. The defender for Western Carolina just ran into him, and KJ just bounced off because this shows the player he is. But, the things that were concerning, it didn't seem like it was a concern in this game, but the thing that you think would be a strength was not the case here. So that's why you need to see a bigger sample size. Let's see what they do against Kent State, because I think Kent State gave up like 800 yards, it seemed like, against UCF last week on the ground. And if you can't run it against them, there may be some problems.
Based on the opponent, and we know what Arkansas does well and what we expect them to do well coming into each and every season, especially building off what they already had going on. Now, the offensive line does make a difference, but we know that Rocket Sanders is highly thought of. We know KJ Jefferson is highly thought of, even adding into that running game. And so when you don't see it as dominant, then that's when people have questions and concerns.
Yeah, let it play out, folks. Just again, if it's a reoccurring thing, then you can start saying it's a concern. But throughout one game when you dominated and you won big. Just wait until that ends up being the case. Also from our Southern Structural Solutions text line, Doug F. in Little Rock says, how many teams had bad first games? Most people just need to calm down. I don't think anybody's saying that it was awful except for a few. But, everyone's going to have their opinion. I mean, there's some people that just saying, if Arkansas would have won on a last-second field goal, they'd be like, hey, listen, this team, they're going to be all right. They're going to be good. It's just a matter of was it the glass half full, half empty? Depends on how you look at it. Also from the 501 says, our run game may not have been typical Arkansas run game, but after the first game and then LSU losing, my thoughts are, here, kitty, bring on the Tigers. Well, you got 2 games before then, so let's not get crazy with it. LSU's a ways off.
Yeah, LSU played a lot better opponent too. So
Mhm.
you can't compare one to the other based off the competition there.
Nope. And you got, again, worry about the games in front of you. Kent State's next, BYU's next, then you go on the road, but one game at a time, folks, one game at a time. Also, we know with Arkansas, of course, taking care of business in their game. Some other, we talked about Florida State and LSU and that craziness. How about Clemson last night? That was horrendous. They lose to Duke. Duke hasn't beaten a top 10 team since 89. I think is what the year was, 89. So you're talking about, the H.W. Bush administration is the last time they beat a top 10 team. Rush the field.
Steve Spurrier may have been the coach at that time.
Yes. And it was actually Clemson is who they beat, ironically enough, which I believe that was Danny Ford, who was the coach at Clemson at the time. Connections there. But I have never seen a team be more allergic to the end zone in a game than I saw Clemson. They got so close like all the time, and it was either fumbles or missed field goals or whatever. But, jeez, that was a terrible performance by Clemson. But kudos to Duke for having a big victory there to start the season.
A lot of credit to Duke getting those field goal blocks also. So each time they are preventing and taking points off the board for Clemson.
7 points scored by Clemson. 7 points in this game. And I know everyone's already talked about it, but it is a little bit ironic that Chad Morris is there. I know he's not involved like that much with the offense, but maybe there's some sort of stench around him where it causes the teams to just forget how to play offense. But yeah, I was happy for Duke. And it's not that I hate Clemson or hate Dabo or anything. I like seeing cool upsets like that for a program like Duke that's had a couple good years here and there. But for Clemson just to have 7 points, and it was only in the second quarter. They were held scoreless in the second half. It's a lot of mistakes on their part, but like you said, Joe, got to give a lot of credit to Duke. They were the ones making the plays. They were taking advantage of it, and those students. I find it ironic too, or at least funny. If it's Duke basketball, everyone in the country is just hoping they lose. But then in Duke football, everyone's like, yeah, good job, guys.
So it is a huge difference.
Yeah, just amazing how sports can do that, or at least dominating sports can do that. But that was fun.
And then with Clemson, they struggled to score last season. They've always been known for, in the past few years, having that dominant defense. But going back to last year, they struggled to score. And then they're, going into games, there's always questions and people trying to predict. And they said, is Cade Klubnik the next great quarterback at Clemson? Well, so far, it doesn't look like he's going to live up to it. But once again, it's one game for them, so they have plenty to play on. But he did get a taste of it last season in replacing DJ in a few games. And we'll see where it goes. But it was just funny that question was thrown out there. Is Klubnik the next great quarterback at Clemson?
Yeah, well, he's not off to the greatest of starts, if that's the case. Because DJ, he's at which school is he
Oregon
at now?
State.
Oregon State, that's right. And I heard he did pretty well over the weekend.
Oh, they looked explosive on offense.
Yeah, maybe.
Now, and then something that was pointed out on the broadcast is not only did he get in the transfer portal, but we always are wondering what made that final decision. What led you to the school that you ended up at? And they said with him, he wanted to play in a more pro-style offense as far as getting under center and doing some different things and being really versatile in the offense and not always lined up in the shotgun. He said that's what led him to Oregon State because he saw that they were doing a lot of those things.
Yeah, normally you think about all offenses they're just the same, or you want to be out in shotgun and the development. But, there's some quarterbacks that still can really do well in that system if that's what they desire to go towards. And, this may be something that works out best for him going to Oregon State. being in a system like that, maybe something's a little bit more comfortable and gets them ready and ends up doing a lot better of a job out there. So
also, like Sam Hartman, we were all over him last week when Notre Dame got the win. And that's something that Notre Dame does differently from what Wake Forest did where he came from. That was pointed out on the broadcast also. It's like, all right, this is Sam Hartman's first time getting under center in his career, because usually he's in the shotgun for the most part, but playing at Notre Dame, there's a lot of going under center at times.
Yeah, he looked pretty good when he was doing that. And I think that's a good point where sometimes, I know I'm guilty of this, get wrapped up with transfer portals thinking that it's always about, oh, well, how much NIL is it? That's what they're looking for. Or, they're just wanting to just get playing time because they weren't playing enough. Whatever it is. Sometimes it's just about that thing, and that right there, to me, is an essence of what is great about the transfer portal. And what's beneficial is, as a player, whether you're a quarterback or a wide receiver, running back or whatever, sometimes it's just about the fit. And if there's a place you can go on and be more successful because of the fit for it, then it's going to work out for you. And it probably works out better for the program that you left. That's really, in essence, what makes it so special and so great. But I think that it's great to see people who, may have been good at one spot, but be able to flourish at another spot. And DJ is definitely one of those guys too. And from Southern Structural Solutions, Savage texted back in and says, Clemson can thank Chad Morris. He works for Dabo. I know. He's kind of been some problems everywhere he's been, because I didn't realize he was on USF's team, I guess, last year too, as some sort of thing, because they went 1-11. So I mean, there's a little bit of an argument to be made there for everything that's been happening. But either way, also real quick, I know we're about to be up against it. Shout out to everybody that came out to the Buzz tailgate on Saturday. That was great. The weather was a lot nicer, Joe, when we first arrived than what it ended up being, but
there
still
was plenty of cloud cover at the time.
Still great crowd, though. Great crowd that showed up to the Buzz tailgate. It's fun meeting a lot of you and taking pictures with a lot of you and having a great time there. I appreciate DJ Kramer being out there. It was a great experience and a great vibe. So thanks to everybody that came out there and had a good time with it. And I know that just in general, too, great crowd at War Memorial Stadium. I'll give a lot of credit to that. And no matter the weather and the time change and everything, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had it at 44,397. Like one of the biggest crowds at War Memorial that they've had in quite some time. So I'm serious, though. Like that's awesome. I expected less because everyone was talking about the game change and how hot it's going to be.
Yeah.
Fans showed up. They did show up.
It's about 10,000 short of a sellout, though.
True. But a lot of students weren't there, too. I was very disappointed in the student section, but still, that's neither here nor there. We got a lot more to get to here on Out of Bounds coming up next. Stay with us.
The Boys and Girls Club of Central Arkansas invite you to the 2023 Leader of the Year Luncheon honoring Hunter Yurichek, featuring Master of Ceremonies David Basil. With your generous support, Boys and Girls Club of Central Arkansas will create opportunities to help more kids and teens achieve great futures. The Leader of the Year Luncheon will be Wednesday, October 18th at the Clinton Presidential Center. For tickets and additional information, visit bgcofca.com.
Serious injuries happen every day. If it happens to you, don't wait. Dial 8. Dial 8 for Rainwater Holton Sexton. 888-8888. We can meet you online, at your house, or wherever is easiest for you. Dial 8. 888-8888 for Rainwater Holton Sexton. Anywhere in the state, dial 8. We've got you covered, Arkansas. Anywhere in the state, dial 8. Rainwater Holton Sexton. 888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Jackalope Cycling is passionate about the Arkansas outdoors. To help you enjoy this beautiful state, Jackalope offers an array of bike rentals to get you on the trails.
What about fly fishing from a bicycle?
You can't do that, but Jackalope also offers fly rods, reels, waders, fly fishing accessories, outdoor and camping gear.
Yeah, it'll be tough riding a bicycle and waders.
But you can still enjoy the Arkansas outdoors with Jackalope Cycling in Russellville or jackalopecycling.com.
David Dunn here with Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer.
We're the area's largest and highest rated independent diesel repair facility for all makes and models, from transmissions and brakes to suspensions and engine repair. If you're tired of high dealership prices and long wait times, come see what family-owned and locally operated really means. Expert technicians and the latest computer diagnostics will get your equipment back on the road fast. Take the England exit on I-440 to Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer. 568-2185. That's Central Arkansas Truck and Trailer.
Attention seafood lovers, Eat My Catfish is back open in Little Rock. The new Eat My Catfish in Riverdale is located in the Riverdale Shopping Center beside the movie theater and Ace Hardware. Eat local, eat fresh, Eat My Catfish.
The Big Game is brought to you by Pulaski County's only Buick GMC dealer, Guadney Buick GMC. Shop the latest GM has to offer: Encore, Terrain, Yukon, or the most advanced tailgating machine in the business, GMC Sierra. Give us a call,
945-4444, or shop us online, GuadneyBuickGMC.com.
5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GMC, we are professional grade.
Guadney for Buick, Guadney for GMC, Guadney for life.
It's Justin Anker reminding you that CertaPro Painters is here to help you as we transition from summer into fall. And if you're thinking about doing something to the outside of your home, maybe it's long overdue, CertaPro Painters is here to help. Have them come over, give you an estimate, and they can help walk you through the process of what it'll take to get it done. They can help you out with the color selection and everything else you need to get the job done right. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. For your home, for your business, get your place looking right with the help of my friends at CertaPro Painters.
Morning Mayhem on location at Elia's Thursday, getting you ready for Arkansas's first home game in Fayetteville. Stop by for a complimentary breakfast and say hey to Baz and Roger. That's Thursday with Morning Mayhem on location at Elia's Mexican Grill in Morrilton.
Check out Hoggs Meat Market's monthly specials and meat packages at hoggsmeatmarket.com. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Jefferson off the zone read. Play action. Pumps once. Looking deep. Tesla at the goal line. Complete. Touchdown, Arkansas. Man, is this guy a find or what?
On 103.7 The Buzz.
If you're shopping for a vehicle, you want to get to Guadney Chevrolet. Guadney has the best deals in the market. I've been doing this 60-plus years. Give them a call, 501-982-2102. Great deals on 2023 Chevy Silverado Turbo Max, 1.9% APR or $6,000 off total cash allowance. Equinox, you get 1.9 APR or $1,250 cash allowance. And check out the all-new 2024 Chevy Trax at Guadney Chevrolet. Take a trip to the Gregory Street exit in Jacksonville. Shop them online, GuadneyChevrolet.com. You can see all the deals, the cash allowances, the rebates, even appraise a vehicle. See just how much it's worth. They're giving thousands over book value, whether you trade that vehicle in or you sell it to Guadney Chevrolet. Guadney is always actively buying vehicles, so you'll get a great deal on the vehicle that you trade in or sell. See the entire inventory of new and pre-owned vehicles on GuadneyChevrolet.com. It's Guadney Chevrolet, Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer, Guadney Chevrolet, GuadneyChevrolet.com.
It is a Reaction Tuesday presented by Fleet Management Services, as we were calling it at least today since it was the long weekend. But going to have Coach Matt Zimmerman joining us here in about 15 minutes. Talk to him about the game and the atmosphere and everything that was going on at War Memorial Stadium, which, by the way, I know that there's been a lot of contention over this and people talking about some of their experiences that they had. But I actually went into the game, Joe, and just sat in the crowd and kind of worked around. And I'll admit there were a lot of things that were pretty problematic there for the sake of the long concession lines, the running out of the water, and some of the machines that the ticket entry and everything. So there were some issues going on there, and the only reason that at least I bring it up is because next year when you have UAPB at War Memorial Stadium, we want to make sure a lot of those problems are solved, because I have a feeling it's probably going to be hot again next year for the first game of the season. But definitely did not like seeing that, and I know a lot of fans had some frustrations. But we'll talk with Coach Z as he'll tell us more about some of the odds and ends and the behind the scenes of what goes on, and also some things that they can do to make sure it doesn't happen again next season. But there's a lot of things, though, going on in the sports world. So let's talk about what's trending.
What's trending in the world of sports is sponsored by Arkansas-based West Rock Coffee. Join West Rock Coffee and their 1.5 million coffee farmers around the globe as they fuel Arkansas with great tasting coffee, tea, and water delivered directly to your business. Contact them at westrockcoffee.com or 833-886-JAVA today.
All right, what's trending in the world of sports? A lot of it college football driven, but that's what happens when it's the first week of the college football season. But we know that the AP Top 25 has officially been released. Arkansas is not listed, but there has been some movement. As we know, with LSU losing to Florida State the way they did, they dropped from number 5 to number 14. So it dropped 9 spots down. So Florida State did jump up to number 4. Even got 3 first-place votes. So
well deserved.
A lot of people believing in them. Utah still at 12, Texas at 11. Tennessee's now in the top 10 at number 9 after their convincing performance. And Clemson, the team that lost to Duke, is now at 25. So just barely hanging on there in the top 25 as Duke jumps up to number 21. So a few things of note there for some movement, some teams that won, some teams that lost, but overall still have no issues with anything there. But that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out next week. And, with these college football rankings and all that, it's just 1 week. It's just 1 week. But we talked a lot about college football scores, but without a doubt, one of the things that trended over the weekend too was the performance out of Coach Prime in his debut, again, with Colorado being able to defeat TCU in what was a high scoring affair and a lot of back and forth, but getting the late touchdown, a big stop, and now being 1-0, the Coach Prime era of Colorado football is off to a pretty roaring start at this point in time.
The player that got the final stop for Colorado, Miles Slusher.
Who?
He was the one that got that stop on 4th down when they needed it to go on to win the game.
No, not ringing any bells. I don't know who that is. Yeah, I saw him, and I guess I think Jordan Dominic was on.
Dominic, he had a role.
Yeah, he had a role in it too. So big win for them in Colorado, and we'll see. Just like everybody else, is people being overreaction, because that's the only thing. And I'll talk about this in best and worst of the weekend. I'm not someone who hates Deion Sanders. In fact, I was actually rooting for him when he got the Colorado job. But people in the media is going to make me start rooting against him, because immediately as soon as it happened, the leadoff topic is Colorado a college football playoff contender? It's just like, come on. I mean, listen, it's a great win, but let's just relax. Let's wait to see how it happens. He's got Nebraska coming up this weekend. So, if he dominates that game too, then more happens, the more people start talking about it. But also in some other news too, when it comes to college football, because we talked about a lot of the scores and everything, this is something that was really disappointing. Georgia had a staff member, Jarvis Jones, arrested on charges of reckless driving and speeding less than 24 hours before their season opener. How does this keep happening? What is it about Georgians, people who are speeding? How many times does this have to happen for people to stop? I have never seen anything like it before in my life, but he was released on a $2,400 bond, and they said he was going 86 miles an hour in a 40-mile-an-hour zone. You just can't do that. And he says there will be internal discipline. That's Coach Kirby Smart. It's a personal matter, and I can't comment further on it. Man, I don't know what it is about those people over there in Georgia think they just need to start speeding all over the place, but probably needs to stop. No, nothing probably. It does need to stop.
Kirby Smart has addressed the team with that, but still continues to happen.
And again, it's just I've never seen anything like it, but it's pretty wild. But also, I know we'll have some more in the Razorback or Razor Hog updates as far as getting to hear from Coach Pittman and some of the players and everything to go along with it. But Arkansas is getting ready for Kent State, so we'll see how that plays out. Arkansas got away with it pretty healthily for the most part, but still some guys that may be banged up, and they're going to see how it goes throughout this week. But Another thing in NFL news, though, something you definitely don't want to hear. Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce has hyperextended his knee ahead of their opener that's going to be coming up this weekend. So
No, it's coming up in 2 days on Thursday.
2 days. That's right. Yeah, I forgot they played Thursday. That's right. Andy Reid addressed the media and says, we'll just see how it goes going forward. And they're hosting the Detroit Lions, but they're being looked at. No further provided details, no progress, nothing. So we'll just have to wait and see. And also the Chris Jones situation, they says there's been no progress on that either.
Yeah, he's not playing for maybe a couple of weeks or so.
Good grief, man. So, yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, I know you got a lot of great players that are going to be there in the mix and they're playing, but those are definitely two of them that you want to get figured out. And hopefully for the sake of Kansas City, they can definitely have Travis Kelce on the field and being healthy as quickly as possible. So we'll have some other headlines to get into as the show goes on, but we're already up against it. But that's what's trending in the world of sports, presented by West Rock Coffee. When we come back, Coach Matt Zimmerman will join us of the Razorback Foundation, talk about the game and also the game heading into Fayetteville this weekend against Kent State. We'll get his thoughts on that. We'll have best and worst of the weekend coming up. We're going to try to keep it moving as best as we can here on a Reaction Tuesday presented by Fleet Management Services. So stay with us here on Out of Bounds.
It's Randy Rainwater. Join me for the Sonic Blast this Friday in Lono when the Jackrabbits host Forest City. Brought to you by Sonic Drive-In and 1037 The Buzz.
In sports, every coach is looking for the winning combination. Arch Marine in North Little Rock is no different. The reason being, they have the winning combination. G3 boats with a Yamaha motor. Your granddaddy trusted Arch Marine, so can you.
At Edwards Food Giant, they know your family is important, and they also know that your time and convenience is as well. So why not take advantage of their heat and eat items in their deli department? Those famous Edwards Food Giant signature dishes with many of the same entrees and recipes that are served daily in the hot bar, all ready to take home and serve to your family tonight. This week's special is chicken and sausage jambalaya for only $7.49 per pound, with roasted potatoes and peppers for $4.99 per pound.
1037 The Buzz is your home for Arkansas Razorback football coverage each week, and it's brought to you by Kaufman by Design West, Gwatney Chevrolet, Gwatney Buick GMC, Rainwater Holton Sexton, PI Roofing, and Red River Ford. 1037 The Buzz. The Hoggs play here.
More fun and games than an amusement park arcade. 1037 The Buzz, KABZ, Little Rock. Buzz News with Channel 7's Cassandra Webb.
Arkansas continues to help those who are affected by the devastating wildfires in the Hawaiian island of Maui. Mark Ingram with the American Red Cross from Little Rock says he got a call from his boss asking him if he would head to the island. Without hesitation, he was on his way. Ingram believes volunteers can bring hope to the city in the midst of the devastation. Hawaii's tourism authority is encouraging visitors to travel there to help the state's economy. Monday, Channel 7 News was at Fleet Feet's annual Labor Day Pancake Run in Little Rock. The popular running store sponsors this event where people run or walk up to 4 miles and then enjoy some pancakes. All the money they raise this year goes to Ferncliff Camp in Little Rock. The owner of Fleet Feet choose a different cause to donate money to each year with their Labor Day Pancake Run. For more news and weather, download our free KATV News and Weather apps. From the Channel 7 Newsroom, I'm Cassandra Webb.
Clint Sterner joins Justin and West in the zone courtesy of Motorsports Authority. Motorsports Authority has 2 great locations with hundreds of vehicles to choose from. Check them out online at msastore.com. Clint Sterner in the zone brought to you by Motorsports Authority on your fun and game station, 1037 The Buzz.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
A few more hot days before we get some relief at the end of the week. Today, 93 for a high, partly cloudy, and a 20% chance of a few pop-up isolated showers and thunderstorms. A high of 95 tomorrow. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
Hey, it's Houston Nutt. I'll be on Morning Mayhem every Wednesday this football season. We're going to get ready to hit that line and root on those Hogs, because we got the wood, y'all. And when you need a new pole barn, metal roof, or steel building, go see my friends at Reed's Metals of Benton, where you can buy direct and save online at reedsmetals.com.
Fort Thompson's in Sherwood is paying your sales tax 2 days only, September 8th and 9th. Everything included: guns, clothes, waders, boots, stands, decoys. Get ready for hunting season at Fort Thompson's in Sherwood. Visit ftthompson.com.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
See shelter agents Monica Reiners or Brian Kress in North Little Rock, or Jamie Marsh in Little Rock.
You know, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hey everybody, it's RJ Hawk. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right back into your joints to restore and repair that damaged tissue without surgery. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a new alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing the things that you love again, like walking, hiking, or even playing with those grandkids. Call QC Kinetics today for that free consultation. 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Courtney Cronin.
Coaches are going to keep things close to the vest when it comes to injuries. I understand that. But the way that Zach Taylor has really dove in headfirst to the gray area here when he said, yeah, it's a couple weeks from when I said several weeks from when I said several weeks, referring to the timeline. And now that he's back at practice, it does feel sort of like, maybe he's ahead of schedule, but Zach Taylor's not giving you any insight into any direction one way or the other. Those were all canned responses to having Joe Burrow back at practice. I wonder if there's something still that we just don't know yet, if this is maybe a sign that he's easing his way back in and he's not truly going to be ready for week one, or I guess it could go the other way. I mean, he left so much up in the air because of his tone and how clipped he was in his responses.
NFL opening night is coming, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is hooking new customers up with a can't-miss offer. Place your first $5 NFL bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OUTCOME to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's code OUTCOME, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
We got to play a whole lot of people, and we haven't been able to do that much since I've been here. And the wonderful thing about that is that the second team had some threes, picked a pass and scored. And they basically won 7-3 when they went in, and the second team offense went down and scored. And we've gotten away from did I get to play or not? It's how well did you play.
Yeah. With John Nabors
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
and Joe Franklin
We won't go in the shell. We won't go in attack mode because that's what's required.
on 1037 The Buzz.
I know that it's good. Won't you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too petty once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem. You just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest phone. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke, put a
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon, it's been a Reaction Tuesday presented by Fleet Management Services. We've been reacting to everything that happened over the long weekend, mainly college football and mainly Razorback football as they get the victory over Western Carolina in convincing fashion, 56-13, taking care of business, and they are officially 1-0. And they're going to be getting ready for Kent State, that game that will be happening this Saturday in Fayetteville at 3 o'clock. So looking forward to that one to see if Arkansas can continue to build on that great performance that they had. But we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more as we go to the phone lines and welcome in friend of the show and guy we always enjoy having on at each and every time he can. And it is Coach Matt Zimmerman. And Coach, as always, man, appreciate you joining us. How was the long weekend?
Oh, it was good. Enjoyed it. Went down Friday to Little Rock, so that was nice to be there Friday afternoon, Friday night, and then Saturday a little earlier game. And everybody got up early, and I was at the getting ready, and I got my first text message, and it was from a buddy, and he was on University. He sent a picture or a video of the traffic lined up on University, and it did my heart good. It was a lot of people getting out there early to tailgate, and so it was fun. It was a fun day, and hey, I know some people, it wasn't as fun for some. Some people had their problems and their issues, whether it's getting in or, it's never fun if your stadium runs out of water or something like that. That's a tough deal for folks, but for me, I enjoyed it, enjoyed being there. I got to see so many folks, whether it was out before the game or in the press box during the game or right after the game. And the Hogs played good, no major injuries, and you're 1-0. So there was many, many positives. And John, really good crowd. There was a lot of people come out. Don't let anybody tell you that there wasn't anybody at the game, because sometimes people forget stuff and photos and videos disappear, and 6 months from now or a year from now, people say, well, nobody ever goes anymore. Well, there was a lot of people at that game Saturday, a lot of people out in some really hot weather there to support the Razorbacks.
Coach, what were your thoughts overall from what you saw during the game, especially from the Razorback offense, who scored a lot of points, and they scored early in the game?
Well, I get so much of my football from, talking to Quinn Grovey and Marvin Cass, and guys that wore the uniform and were out there with the Razorbacks. And there was so many positives about the game. I love the fact we just jumped on them quick. It was 21 points in the first quarter, and the game was never in doubt from right off the bat. When you throw that pass off to the left to Wilson, and he goes 65 yards from KJ, and it's right off the bat at 7-0. It's not even 2 minutes into the game. You're like, well, this is going to be fun. We're going to score a lot of points, and we did. And you score 8 touchdowns. That's really nice. And it was just it was a game the Razorbacks dominated. We should. That's a program that doesn't play at the Razorbacks level. They're not in our conference. They're not they're not even in the they're in the level they play is a good level of Division I football, but it's not the same level of a Power 5 team. And the differences in money, budget, fan support, all that, and you could see it. We just had a different type of athlete than what Western Carolina had, and we did what we're supposed to do. But there's been times in those type of games we hadn't dominated. Even you think back to Portland State or Samford. Samford's in their league. There's times we've struggled with Samford. There's been times in the not so distant future that we have not just killed teams like that. So it was nice to be able to, take care of business early, put the game result out. We know what's going to happen. We know the Hogs are going to win in a blowout, and then let's work on some stuff.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Coach, because I was trying to think of when was the last time I watched a Razorback football game where I wasn't stressed going into the third quarter. It was just such a nice thing to see. And I think that one of the things that me and Joe talked about is just
we didn't have that last year, John.
Yeah.
We didn't really have that big blowout like that.
Yeah, it seemed like every game Arkansas was either down early or having to come back or whatever it was. But, we were discussing just, you think about, a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new change. You got to travel down to the game. It's really hot. You felt like that would have been a time where, okay, maybe this will be something that's problematic. But for Arkansas to just come out and be as crisp as they were, score 21 points in the first quarter and just really be dominant. Again, it's one game, but you got to feel like it's a great sign for things to come, that if this team is already at this level where there wasn't a lot of procedural penalties, there wasn't a lot of lining up offsides, like that's the stuff that you really want to see in game week if you're going to have a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't a lot of careless penalties, and we've seen those even in these big national TV games on Sunday night and on Monday night. And a lot of penalties, bring back big plays. Razorbacks didn't have much. Had a few penalties, and Coach Pittman talked about that in the press conference. Obviously, it's a good situation. You win in a blowout, and then you've got things you can work on, things you can clean up, and we're still not turning the ball over. That is really nice. That is a huge positive. You got a quarterback, knock on wood, that has a history of not turning the ball over. That's really nice, and just total domination. I'm like everybody else. We were so excited about the defense going into the season because of all these changes. And I was up at the Jones Center eating lunch today with our new executive director here at the foundation, Ryan White. We were up there eating, and here you come out. This is where all your student athletes are eating lunch, and these guys are busy. And sometimes it's hard to see a football coach during the season. But here comes running through there to eat is Marcus Woodson, and it is awesome. There's Travis Williams coming in. Where all the student athletes are eating and saying, Coach Williams, they come up, pat you on the back. You say, Coach, man, enjoyed it Saturday, and they're like, oh, we loved it. That was fun, and hey, we got to get back to work. We got to keep going. We got to get better. And those guys are fun. Their energy. I love the fact that because you got to eat. Even though football coaches are busy, they got to eat too, right? They got to put their clothes on. They got to go to the bathroom. They got to take a shower. They got to live too, even in the season. Sometimes it's sold like they don't have time to live, but those guys, I like the fact they were coming through that Jones Center today with all these student athletes, football, basketball, baseball, all the different sports in there, grabbing lunch. They come in and eat, and they're positive, and they're talking positive stuff, and they got a smile on their face. And but at the same time, they know they still got work to do. So, man, it's fun right now. And, hey, there's energy already on Tuesday for 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday in Fayetteville. We're going to have a tremendous crowd.
Speaking of work to do, Coach, a little reversal of roles of what we kind of expect with Arkansas, where they were more dominant passing the ball than they were rushing the ball. And that was something that many people voiced their opinions about.
Yeah, yeah, they really did. And, Quinn just felt like that they were putting so much emphasis on them, Western Carolina, putting so much emphasis on stopping our running game that they kind of had us outnumbered in some spots to stop that game. But that's why KJ could drop back and he's hitting all these wide open receivers. And if you were at the game, or you could see it on TV, that there was a whole lot of wide open receivers. And so he had a lot of guys to pick from. And there was times that we'd have 4 guys going out and a tight end, and, he'd have 3 guys wide open. And so the Razorbacks took advantage of the passing game. And, he goes 18 to 23. That's 78%, 246 yards. KJ was good. And then how about Jacoby Criswell? I grew up outside of Morrilton, and we've been so wanting to see Jacoby play with the Razorbacks. He goes off to North Carolina. He's finally out there in War Memorial Stadium. I know it meant a lot to him because he had a lot of folks there at the game from Morrilton there to see him play. And he looked good, didn't he? And he could throw that ball. He led us right down the field. That was the only bad thing about when we had the touchdown, when we had the interception and ran it back for the 85-yard touchdown or whatever it was. We weren't going to get to see him again because we were just about to get the ball back, and Spence had the 85-yard interception return. So that kept Criswell on the sideline. I was anxious to see him again, but boy, I'm excited about these receivers. I know people up here really are, and this is an offense it looks like it's gotten better too. But the running game, I think you'll see it this weekend against Kent State.
Speaking with Matt Zimmerman here on the phone lines on Out of Bounds, and Coach, you mentioned Kent State and just the team that I guess played UCF over on Friday night, and they had gave up a lot of points, and looks like that could be another chance for Arkansas to continue to build on. What would be some of the things that you just want to see against Kent State, besides the rushing attack like you just talked about from Arkansas, to really show that progress? Because that's what coaches say, the biggest improvements from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, you learn that as a young coach, and you believe it as a young coach because you see it with your team. we will be better in this game, and that's why I think you will see an outstanding rushing attack. I think Coach Enos will be determined to that, and Coach Pittman will definitely be determined to that. And we still haven't seen, KJ running the ball yet. Maybe see that a little bit Saturday against a team from the MAC. And I still don't think you'll see him run it much. Hopefully won't need to. There's people that debate, and I don't know. But there are people that think that that Western Carolina, they might be as good as what Kent State was. It is. And that's we'll see that for ourselves on Saturday. But hopefully it's another game where you get a big stretch, you get a big lead. Central Florida dominated them down in Orlando, so we need to do the same thing and get Coach Enos everything he wants to do, all the plays he wants to work on, get to do it against someone else's defense, because it does get a little bit tougher the week after that against Brigham Young.
Working on a short week, Coach, you mentioned that there's already the excitement of getting to Saturday. It's going to be the home opener in Fayetteville for the Razorbacks. So from a planning standpoint, what are some of the things that are going to happen with that home opener in Fayetteville?
Well, it's unique because working in here in the department and at Foundation, we have to get better from game one to game two. Now, some of the things in Little Rock, it's a different thing when we come to Little Rock because, the athletic department here doesn't necessarily run the War Memorial Stadium. It's got its own set of people, and you have to work together to make it as good as you can. And, War Memorial Stadium is not used to having that big of a crowd 5 and 6 and 7 times a year like we get to have here at Razorback Stadium. They only get a game like that once a year, if that. Sometimes we haven't been down there every year anymore. So you see the things, and I think for us, it's learning on what happened at War Memorial, make sure that we do it here, we do it better here. We talked about running out of water. You hate that. We've ran out of water at Razorback Stadium before. Did y'all know that?
Mm-hmm.
We have, and we've done that in the last few years. We ran out on a hot first game of the season Saturday. So just making sure we learn from mistakes from this past weekend as an athletic department and saying, hey, we got to make sure we got this, we got this, we got this. And I think they're stocked up really heavy for the first 3 games of the season, and it's really good to see. And of course, here we also have a professional, more of Levy is one of our people that we deal with, and that's concessions and the suites, and that's a big company here that helps be able to put this on. Bless their hearts, down in Little Rock, I'm walking around before the game. I'm talking to Coach, Scotty Thurman's there. He's got kids from Little Rock Park. They're going to work the concession stand. You got different, groups and different charities working concession stands. That's tough. A young student in Little Rock Park, nothing against them, but that's hard to battle that concession stand when you got 45,000 Razorback fans thrown on top of you. You're having to deal with people and people mad because you can't use a credit card or whatever. So, for us, it's shoring all that up, making sure we learn from mistakes of last week. We're going to hopefully have 76,000 people here on Saturday in Fayetteville, Arkansas. We want people to have a great experience.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, Coach, because I know that, especially on social media, I had some friends and people I knew that were voicing their displeasure and everything. And I was kind of like looking at it as like, all right, well, one way to try to make it get fixed or, make sure it doesn't happen again. It doesn't have to be a vitriol way, but just saying, hey, this is what happened. So next year, like for instance, when Arkansas plays UAPB, season opener, a lot of that stuff can be fixed. And same thing, I'm sure, with y'all as you look at it from what happened this past week and say, hey, this is what we got to do. It's a trial and error, but it's also a fluid situation at times to try to make sure everyone's taken care of.
Yeah, and it's a balance because we bring a lot of our people down. Our ticket operations people come down. Now, the person, when you first walk up to get your ticket scanned at War Memorial, they're going to be a War Memorial Stadium worker, a contracted employee coming in there. And, they have a lot of people they have to get to that type of big event. Whereas in Fayetteville, we have the people that work they work football games, basketball games, baseball games. We have this huge amount of people that are used to working the games, oftentimes several games in a week because we have a lot of events. And so it's a balance because when you have the Little Rock, a lot of our athletic department, our marketing people, ticket people to go down there and help the War Memorial people, all that has to be a balance. And then we got to learn from the mistakes and say, hey, we can't have them again because we do want our fans to have a good experience. That means you're not going to stand in line for a second in Fayetteville. No, you may have to, but we want to make it as good as we can. And we want people to leave saying, man, that was fun. I had a great time. That means you're going to get in your car and drive right out. No. I mean, 76,000 people are going to be here. You may take you a minute to get out and get back to the interstate. So we just know there's going to be some battles. We want people to have as good of experience as they can, and to make sure that they enjoy themselves. And it really is a balance. But we do know it's important for our Hog fans to come to the games and want to come back to the games. I hate it for anybody that went Saturday that's sitting here listening right now saying, "Man, I'm not going back. I'm mad. We want you to come back, and hopefully we get it better next year."
So, Coach, also with this upcoming game in Fayetteville, I wanted to ask you the Big Reds. The big thing that they got going on there with the rooftop bar. I saw it had like a soft opening, I guess. Just have you got to check that out? Yeah, I figured you would be.
I went. Yeah, I went. We had some fundraising stuff going on Tuesday, and I hustled from that and got to the opening that Hunter had, the Big Reds rooftop bar. When Hunter was first talking about that before COVID, I was like, yeah, whatever. We already got a lot of, the SEC Club, the Southwest Conference Club, Champions Club, the Diamond Club. We got all these clubs. It's all no big deal. I really wasn't that much concerned with it. And then as we got it built, it started looking pretty cool. And then when I got to go to that opening, it is really nice. And I was like, man, of course, I work on a broadcast during the game, so I don't get to just roam around during the game, but that is an awesome spot up there. And it's really nice. You got nice chairs. Everything's new. And the view of that stadium from up there is fabulous. It is awesome. So I hope a lot of people will take advantage of that Big Reds rooftop bar, north end zone of Razorback Stadium. It's really something neat to see.
Coach, with the all digital tickets, is that something that they're having to work through in Fayetteville, or is that something that they've been doing routinely already?
Well, yeah, we've been doing mobile tickets since COVID. Used to everything was a paper ticket, and then after COVID hit, we went to mobile tickets, and that's still a process of getting through that. And so people can still come to the ticket office and get tickets printed. Now it's hard to do that if you're doing it 5 minutes before kickoff. You try to do it in advance. If you live up here, come by. Now, we do charge now. It used to be that was just something free. You got your ticket, and you now there is a little bit of a charge, and they want everybody to be able to do everything mobile. We do have some people that cannot do. And if you show up at Razorback Ticket Center, and you got a flip phone or you have an old phone, and you show them, hey, I can't do anything digitally on this thing, they will print your tickets out for you for free. They will print them out for you if you can't do it. But otherwise, we'd like people to do them mobile. That hurt us a little bit in Little Rock Saturday because the internet got bad. It was hard to even send a text message out around there at 10:30, 11:30. I know I was trying to do it. I was standing down at the gate. I was seeing some of the gates were moving quick. But our fans did a tremendous job, guys. I heard today right at 80% of our fans came to that gate with the ticket downloaded and ready. And sometimes the hand scanner that the folks at War Memorial had, sometimes it wouldn't click and it wouldn't go through. So then we got to where we would just look and make sure you had that ticket, and then we said, go, just go. We already have record of the tickets sold. We know how many tickets were sold, but it does keep you a little bit from knowing exactly how many go in the game. That's why I used to have that scanner to get that exact number. But, it was good to get those folks in. It was hard because a lot of people were standing in line. I stood there at gate 7, and I saw the big line. But I could go to the gate to my right when I was facing gate 7. That one was moving. It was rolling in pretty good. But, some of the gates did get backed up because they had a lot of people. And so download those tickets, get them in your wallet before you come to the game. All of our internet stuff here, everything here has been pretty good at Razorback Stadium the last couple of years, much improved from what it was 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So, we'll have some problems here and there, but we're going to have a lot of people around to try to help you when you get there and you're having problems with your ticket. But, so the mobile ticket it's something new for all of us over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years. It's something we've all had to learn.
Well, Coach, before I let you get out of here, I know you got a 3-day weekend, got to see some of the college football games. What did you make of some of the games that you watch, especially with Florida State, LSU, and Duke and Clemson?
Well, it's just like it was basketball with me. You kind of want your league to win, but also on the other side, that any time Scott Egger is one of my old mentors in coaching. He was assistant basketball coach here for the Razorbacks. Recruited some of the great Razorback basketball players of the 1980s, early 90s. And Scott Egger used to always say, no, you want them coming to your place after they've had their butt beat because we're always more messed up when we've lost you're not in quite as good a frame of mind after a loss. Neither are your opponents. And so it's when someone loses, it's in your league. You kind of hate it. Our league's pretty strong anyway, so sometimes it's good. LSU, they didn't play very good. They didn't look good, and they will be tough when we go to Baton Rouge. But maybe their crowd will be a little softer. Maybe it won't be quite as tough if they're coming off a loss or two going in there. Like all fan bases, you lose a little bit of your sizzle when you lose a game. And so, I thought South Carolina would beat North Carolina, and they couldn't. They couldn't do it. It didn't even really get down to the wire on it. But Florida State, man, they look like the real deal. Their quarterback is so good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend for college football, and it's going to continue on. We just got to enjoy it while it's here. There's no doubt about it, Coach. But as always, we appreciate you joining us. Can't wait to see you up there this weekend. It's going to be a great one in Fayetteville. We look forward to it.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
All right, appreciate it. Again, that was Coach Matt Zimmerman joining us here on Out of Bounds. Always appreciate Coach joining us, not only for his insight on everything with Arkansas, but just his insight on sports in general. It's always good to catch up with him. But we got to keep it moving here on Out of Bounds on a Reaction Monday, or Tuesday, I should say, presented by Fleet Management Services, as we will have best and worst of the weekend, with our highlights and lowlights coming up next. So stay with us.
Insure your auto, home, life, and everything in between with Shelter Insurance. Find a local agent by calling 1-800-SHELTER or at shelterinsurance.com.
This is Sports Center.
In the FIBA World Cup this morning, Team USA dominated Italy, winning 100-63, avenging their first loss of the summer from Saturday against Lithuania. Austin Reeves had a productive outing, scoring 12 points in 19 minutes. Lithuania is now out of the tournament as they fell to Serbia 87-68. Team USA now awaits the winner of Germany and Latvia. They'll play the winner on Thursday with a World Cup final appearance on the line. If USA wins on Thursday, it will be their first World Cup final appearance since 2014. And the Arkansas Travelers host the Amarillo Sod Poodles at Dickey-Stevens Park for a 6-game series starting tonight. First pitch is set for 6:35. Coverage can be heard on 106.7 Buzz 2. I'm Christian Weaver with the Buzz Radio Network.
Mike Poor at Whitetail Properties Real Estate presents the Razorbacks.
All right, the Arkansas Razorbacks take care of business in game.
Sports. Randy and Rick preview the game and what it will take for the Razorbacks to win. The key to victory brought to you by Mike Poor at Whitetail Properties Real Estate.
Roger Scott for Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union and their Casasa checking accounts. With Casasa, earn up to 6% APY, cash rewards with no minimum balance, and refunds on ATM fees. Stop by Alcoa's new branch in Sheridan and open a free Casasa checking account or apply securely online at alcoacommunityfcu.org.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at GoGreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
Having pain like that and not knowing how you caused it and for how long it's lasting, it's debilitating.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson hated not being able to live her life to the fullest due to joint pain. But then she called QC Kinetics, where regenerative treatments helped her pain go away.
The result was phenomenal.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This was a great alternative for me as opposed to going in and possibly having surgery or something else. There was no downtime, and that's what I loved. My life is too busy for me to be sidelined.
If you're tired of constant pain from arthritis or injury, don't think the old treatments are the only treatments. Discover regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Just to feel good and know that I'm out of pain is the best thing ever. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug. We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20-milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5-milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Join the Zone this Friday in Bryant at the Reliance Bank location on Highway 5. It's the Zone this Friday from 10 to 1, live from Reliance Bank in Bryant.
Same great deals, all new location for Hoggs Meat Market in North Little Rock at 3901 JFK Boulevard. Call them today at 501-758-7700 for all their specials at Hoggs Meat Market. The steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
Dean's going to throw, and it's intercepted at the 15. Spence has picked it off, and he's going to go the distance. 50, 40, 30, 20. Brad Spence to the house. An interception return for a score, 85 yards in his first game as a Razorback. How about that?
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Bet Saracen is as close to your cell phone. Just go to the App Store and download the Bet Saracen app or go to betsaracen.com. Get great in-game prop bets and specials courtesy of Bet Saracen. There are already NFL Week 1 lines on Bet Saracen as well as college football Week 2. And be on the lookout for double R props. They'll be coming soon. And Arkansas is a 37.5-point favorite over Kent State. The over-under is 58.5. For the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering info, you need to be on the Bet Saracen app. It's simple. Just go to the App Store and download the Bet Saracen app or go to betsaracen.com. Be sure to check out the video of how to play featuring Jancy Sheets.
It is a Reaction Tuesday presented by Fleet Management Services here on Out of Bounds, and we want to continue to hear your reactions to the sports weekend. Call or text in to 501-661-1037. Get after us in the Asher Record Live fan feedback. After me on Twitter at Buzz John Neighbors and X. I don't think it's ever going to happen for me. I don't think I'm ever going to change it. And
so there's been it's been a bit of a shift in a movement. Like at one time it would say X, formerly known as Twitter. You know, go to somebody's handle X, formerly known as Twitter. And now the shift has been where you don't even see formerly known as Twitter. It's just X. The handle on X.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to ever do that. So what was it? Because every time I hear formerly known, what is it? A Prince when that thing when his name was a symbol. So every time I hear that, I'm going to think of that. I'm like, I still called him Prince though. You still Prince. I know that was his. I still don't even know how he did that. Was it just a symbol?
It was to get out of a contract,
right? But like, what was the expectation of? How do you do that to a symbol? Like, I guess I never understood how you do that.
Change that name, and he kind of laid that foundation for others to follow. Now, we don't know of anybody not thinking about the symbol only, but as far as changing a name to get out of a contract, there wasn't much of that went on, but he put it out there for people to think about. This is a way to get around certain things.
Well, it worked out for him. I just always thought that was so interesting, a symbol as a name, but it makes sense, especially for the legality of things. We'll get to best and worst of the weekend, but on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, at the 501 says 2 questions for John and Joe. 1, why did they cut the Little Rock Touchdown Club speaker off every single week? And I understand having to move to breaks, but I feel like we miss what little bit is left. And then 2, Justin said they will have the podcast with Manning speaking. So what's the name of the podcast? Thanks to both of you. Keep up the good work. Well, the podcast is the Zone Podcast. You go wherever podcasts are found, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just search in 103.7 The Buzz, The Zone, and it'll pop up there. And as far as cutting them off, listen, if you get a lot of the speaker and sometimes they go long and, we still have a radio station that has to be ran. There's certain things we have to have. We have to have legal IDs play. We got to have certain commercials play. We got to have EAS tests. So all that stuff together is just part of it. But the thing is if you want to hear all of it, just go to the event at the Little Rock Touchdown Club. Which, by the way, who's next week? I meant to look at that beforehand.
Tony Dorsett.
There you go, Tony Dorsett. So Peyton Manning was a hit, though, from all intents and purposes. Had a great crowd. I heard over 1,300 people, something to that extent, that showed up.
Big time crowd.
Incredible. And it was cool seeing on our video live stream, too, for those of you who may have missed out on it. Justin and Wes got to have Peyton Manning there on video for our video stream on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So that's also going to be happening each and every Little Rock Touchdown Club event. That if you want to see the interviews with the guys on the zone with their special guest, just be sure to follow us on those social media platforms and watch the live stream that way, and you'll get to see them in the flesh too. Dakota also says, am I crazy for thinking Tulane could give Ole Miss a run for their money and possibly make the upset this weekend?
Yes.
You think it's
maybe not, but if you're basing it on Tulane from last year, they're not going to be the same team.
I would be shocked if Tulane upset Ole Miss, but then again, I would have been shocked if Duke beat Clemson. So sometimes things can happen, but yeah, I wouldn't put money down on it. I wouldn't make a bet on it. And we'll have some Asher Record Live fan feedback to get to, but we're going to be up against it anyway. So let's try to keep it moving here as we got to get to the best and worst of the weekend.
It was the best of times.
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
It was the worst of times.
Nuts and bolts, we got screwed. Third down.
It's time for the best and worst of the weekend on Out of Bounds.
All right, time for best and worst of the weekend. Go ahead and start with the best of the weekend. And I know I've mentioned it before, but I think it's worth mentioning again, which is similar to what we talked with Coach Z. Best of the weekend, the crowd itself there at War Memorial Stadium, also at the tailgating scene, also at the Buzz tailgate. Just the entire amount of people that were there was really impressive. And I know that everyone would have loved to have seen a sellout capacity crowd, but considering, the heat, considering the time change and everything that we heard so much about last week, and I was changing a lot of people's plans, had a lot of people there still at the game, and that was great to see. And in fact, Joe, we had a caller earlier talk to us about the ticket giveaway. I actually ran into one of our listeners that won the tickets that we were giving away, because it's on Friday. We gave away quite a bit at the last second, but glad to see all the tickets get used. Glad to see a great crowd there. And again, I know it was miserably hot, and I know that there were some other things going on, but the people showed up, and that was impressive. That was important, and hopefully it happens again next year against UAPB.
Best to Shador Sanders, who passed for 510 yards with Colorado beating TCU. It's a school record. Also in the same game, school record, 4 receivers had 100-plus yards receiving.
Yeah, what was it? Is it Travis Hunter? That's who it is. Yeah, the guy that plays on both sides of the ball. Don't see very many of those, but he's pretty good, and there's a reason why he plays on both sides of the
absolutely. Ball. And then Coach Prime has been hyping him up since the Jackson State days, where he's like, oh, he's better than I was at this point. I'm like, all right, let's calm down. But I mean, that shows the belief that he has in him, and he knows how good Travis Hunter is. And he's a guy that could have gone anywhere he wanted to, but he started at Jackson State because he wanted to be with Coach Prime, and then followed him to Colorado, and we see how good he is.
Still, every time I think of Coach Prime, though, just because of his coaching there, I always think of the quote, "Who's SWAC if I'm not SWAC? Who's SWAC if I'm not SWAC?" That was one of my favorite quotes from him as a coach, but I'm sure we'll have plenty more great quotes this football season up there at Colorado. Another best of the weekend, for again, a lot of college football that happened over, but I loved seeing LSU lose and the way that they lost. It was just nice to see some teams where, a lot of hype goes towards them, and not to say that, it means Arkansas is going to beat LSU. I'm not predicting that, but it certainly makes you feel like, if you're any fan, if you're going to be playing a team like that, you're like, okay, so maybe there's some weaknesses there, but like to see that, like to see a sheer domination, and honestly, like to see a few of those SEC teams lose, because the ones I was rooting against, mainly South Carolina and LSU, rooted against both of them lost, and I enjoyed that very much. So that was at least a good thing to see.
Best to J.J. McCarthy, Michigan's quarterback, 87% completion percentage. So we know that going into some of these games, we expect to see dominance and see certain players play well, but that's still hard to do, to only miss on 4 passes throughout the game.
Worst of the weekend, though, I talked about seeing South Carolina get beats, which again was a great thing for me. And I actually forgot to get the clip. That's embarrassing. But anyways, I'll just go ahead and explain it. Seeing Shane Beamer after the game when he lost, bring up one of the first things he brings. Like, anybody got box score? You got stats, whatever. And then he goes through. He's like, yeah, we couldn't trying to get an onside kickoff, but the chain gang was having eating a hot dog or something, so they weren't out there. So. But that was about the only thing that went wrong tonight. I'm like,
still executed it though.
Yeah, I was like, you still got it off. And also, what do you mean that was the only thing that went wrong? What are you talking about? And so I don't like Shane Beamer. He seems like the type that, man, he's all about social media, all about promotion, all about the branding, all about having a good time and being kind of goofy. But then when he loses, he seems to kind of lose his cool a little bit. So I don't really like coaches like that. I don't really care for Shane Beamer, and I always like Mac Brown. So to see them get the victory over there against South Carolina did me some good in the best, but the worst of it was just his attitude about the whole thing after the game.
Best for 4 teams in college football, scoring 65-plus points. Oregon, 81. OU and Ole Miss, both 73. USC, 66.
Yeah. Was that right? Oregon? How many? Oregon score?
81. Yeah. They put up the Kobe score.
My goodness.
81.
I didn't think about that. That's great. Because they played Portland State, which was funny. Few years ago, that's one of Chad Morris's biggest wins at Arkansas. Beat them 20-13. So kind of gives you an idea.
Also a best to the Pac-12. There are several teams that are moving on, but they're undefeated so far in college football, 13-0.
Mm-hmm. Not bad for the swan song of the conference, because next year it's all going to be going away. But yeah, Pac-12 was great. Another worst of the weekend, and this has nothing to do, again, I have no problem with Coach Deion Sanders. He's prime. He is who he is. He's not going to change for anything. I don't have a problem with him. But I do have a problem, just like with anything, media overreactionary. Just one game, which was a great game and a nice win, bringing up, Heisman Trophy contender for Sanders, a playoff team. Like, I just feel like that puts almost a lot of unfair expectations on anybody. We've seen it happen before. Always think back to, remember Kenny Trill after one game against South Carolina, and the guy was a Heisman Trophy.
Let's not do that now.
Yeah, we don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do it after one game. Let it play out.
No, the comparison of Shedeur and Kenny Trill.
Yeah,
that's a difference.
It's more of the comparison of the reaction.
Situation.
The situation. So I hate that. I feel like it's unfair, and we'll see. Maybe they're all right, but just pump the brakes a little bit after just one game.
Awards to South Carolina's offensive line. Now, they did have a chance in that game. It didn't. If you see the result and you didn't necessarily watch the game, it wouldn't seem like that. But early in that game, they're going back and forth with North Carolina up and down the field offensively. But in the end, their offensive line couldn't protect, and Spencer Rattler was sacked 9 times. Now, they do run that up-tempo offense, and there were several shots to Dow Loggins in the booth and showing him saying, hey, let's go. And they were having success, but North Carolina is not a team that's known for being dominant defensively, and they pretty much have the same defense that they had last year, and they got to Spencer Rattler 9 times. Not a good showing at all for South Carolina's offensive line.
Not at all. And then if you want to throw in and add that to it, South Carolina's rushing game finished with -2 yards in the game. Yeah, that's a problem. 9 times. Wasn't that like Joe Burrow numbers when he got sacked? 9 times. Only difference is
they won.
They won, and that's Joe Burrow. But yeah, if you want to win in this league, as we all know, got to have an offensive line, and that's not a good sign for South Carolina. But that's best and worst of the weekend. Take a break. When we come back, we'll get to more of your phone calls and messages and your Razor Hog update presented by True Service. So stay with us.
Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Big O Tires. However, we might as well go by Big O Tires, alignments, batteries, brakes, oil changes, suspensions, and free visual inspection upon arrival, because we do all that and more. But that name seems a little long and it won't fit on our sign. Now at Big O Tires in Conway and Cabot, take $100 off select sets of tires. That's right, save $100 right now off select sets of tires and get tires, service, and straight talk at Big O Tires.
Join the zone each Monday for game balls and jock straps. Brought to you by A Caddy's Touch Landscaping. Find out who made the best, average, and worst headlines in sports and entertainment each Monday as Justin Acree and Wes Moore give you their game balls and jock straps on the zone from 10 to 1. It's all brought to you by A Caddy's Touch Landscaping, 501-794-2770. Call today to get your landscape updated to a whole new level and be listening for game balls and jock straps only on 103.7 The Buzz.
Fort Thompson's in Sherwood is paying your sales tax. 2 days only, September 8th and 9th. Everything included: guns, clothes, waders, boots, stands, decoys. Get ready for hunting season at Fort Thompson's in Sherwood. Visit ftthompson.com.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. On August the 23rd, Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of Guns for Hire Wagner Group and Vladimir Putin's longtime ally turned foe, was presumably killed in a suspicious plane crash. The Washington Post wrote, "Some of Putin's foes, among them journalists and opposition politicians, have died or fallen ill in suspect circumstances after opposing the Russian leader." You think? In other news, expect the sun to rise in the east tomorrow. Putin is a ruthless dictator and a killer. That's what he is, and that's what he does. You know what Doublebees does? Provides quality products, astounding convenience, and high value. Come on in for some deals, my friends. Doublebees. It's where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebees.
The new Lotto game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is creating new traditions for our players, like Margaret from Conway.
I always play 2004, 20, and 4. That's Mr. Biscuit's adoption year. When we win, I'm going to give him the life he always dreamed of. Isn't that right, Mr. Biscuit?
Your numbers, your game. Play Lotto every Wednesday and Saturday for your chance to match 6 and get rich. Only $2 per play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizin, a prescription-only 150-milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Join Roger Scott for game day watch parties at Boudreaux's Grill and Bar, 9811 Maumelle Boulevard in North Little Rock, and cheer on our team. The fun is at Boudreaux's, your fun and game station, 103.7 The Buzz.
Fire up the grill this summer with the highest quality of meats from Hoggs Meat Market and their new location off JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
How's my protege? Jeremy. Yeah. Boy, J-Bone. J-Bone is, believe it or not, he's getting married. What? What an idiot. Oh, what a loser. Good. More for me and you.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Out of Bounds here on a Reaction Tuesday, presented by Fleet Management Services. Appreciate everybody listening in. It's always fun to be here on a long weekend, because after a long weekend always means it's a shorter work weekend. But feels like a Monday, but it is a Tuesday. So we'll keep it moving and have some fun throughout the rest of the show and also the rest of the week. And I want to remind everybody here in about 15 minutes, Razorback offensive lineman Joshua Braun is going to be joining us thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance. So but since it was Labor Day, I don't know how you are, Joe, but I feel like on Labor Day weekend, it's like Friday night or Saturday or Sunday. That's all the thing. But then Monday, the actual day off, I don't do anything. Like it's almost like, okay, I'm just going to like scale back and be lazy or do some stuff around the house. But people going to the lake, like I got to go to the lake at Lake Hamilton, but I was back by Monday. I was like, no, I'm done on that. But it's almost like that extra day that you get off. A lot of people don't actually do anything special because it's more about the weekend and still on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, it's Labor Day, not working and enjoying some time off. So do what you want to do with it. You can appreciate it for being a holiday that it is. And it's always close to my son's birthday, which actually is today.
Oh,
my
happy
son
birthday.
Jericho, his birthday is today. So
How old is he?
29.
29.
So he's going to hit a big one next year.
Yeah. So I remember how that was and a eerie feeling. I don't know how he'll feel about it, but when I turned 30, it was like, oh, man. I feel like I was so old, and now I'm 34. It's like, whatever. It's like it's another year, but
we got a chance to hang out Saturday. He actually went to the game, but
nice
tailgating, and we had a great time over the weekend, and we're gonna celebrate some more coming up.
There you go. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about is just enjoying yourself on the weekend and go. I went down to Lake Hamilton and shout out to Kenny and Lenan Hill for allowing me to hang out with them and got to see some friends of mine I haven't seen in a while. Got to go out on the boat and enjoy it. All over Lake Hamilton. And also shout out to Todd Ross, who's an awesome guy, listens to the Buzz all the time. And is a guy I just met at SEC Media Days. He's friends with Baz and everything, but he allowed us to just come over, stop by while we were on the lake. He's got a lake house, and that was pretty awesome. That was a pretty awesome time. So, but yeah, it was a great time, though. I love Lake Hamilton. I love going on lakes in general, but they had the cove we went to, they had a live band on a boat.
Oh, that's nice.
So that was really cool. And one of the best things about it, and it's going to, save it for 3 and outs and everything. But, I'm a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, and he passed away, of course, this past weekend. And
that was sad and a little bit surprising to hear Friday.
Yeah, I was not expecting to wake up to that news. And, my dad is one of the biggest Jimmy Buffett fans. And that's kind of like, but passed down to me. Like we went to the concert together. That was here. I forgot how many years ago. It was when it was like flooding all over the place. Like it was wild, but yeah, it was sad. But anyways, the band that was there did like tribute almost, like not the entire time, but they did a lot of Jimmy Buffett songs. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I saw him, and then the lead singer Smash Mouth passed away too.
Yeah,
just man, it's like I know we all are human. We're all going to pass on from this earth sometime. But it's like, geez, man, it seems like here recently it's just been a lot of ones that are you least expect or we're not expecting to hear about. But yeah, it was a great weekend, and hope everybody else had a great weekend as well. Let's go to Mark, who's in Little Rock, before we get to our Razor Hog update. What's up, Mark?
Hey, guys. Hey, I've always been a fan of Deion Sanders, especially when he was at the Cowboys. I've really liked his flamboyancy and everything. But I just find it funny that we're not talking about what he said in the sense of if it would have been a white coach thing, I'm proud that we have 75% white players and coaches, and that's the way I'm going to do it. They would be screaming, he's a racist. We got to run him out of town. I mean, they destroyed John Gruden's career over supposed racist comments in an email that we don't even know what the comments were. It was just hearsay. He had racist comments in an email. Oh, let's destroy him. And Deion gets the pass, which I still like the guy. I don't think he's a racist. But I'm just pointing out the double standard, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. Because that's all you would hear right now if it was a white coach. It would be nothing but, he's a racist. He's a racist. I mean, I want to get your opinion on that. Thanks, guys.
No, I'll be honest, Mark. I don't know what comment.
Never heard those comments.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. So we'll do some research about it because I don't want to comment on something that I don't know anything about. But yeah, we appreciate the call. But yeah, I hadn't heard anything about that. But if so, then we'll probably respond later. But we have to get to your Razor Hog update real quick. Sponsored by True Service.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
Hoggs by 90!
This is your Razor Hog update on Out of Bounds, presented by True Service Community Federal Credit Union, where they offer new mortgage loans, refinancing, auto loans, and small business loans. Online at trueservice.net.
All right, so for your Razor Hog update, Sam Pittman after the game felt like a lot of confidence was gained for his team.
Today's about building confidence in the team. That's what it is, and confidence in yourself, but more importantly, confidence in your teammate. And I thought the team already had it, but to go show it on a Saturday, I think that helps everybody. But I'm proud of those guys.
Also, the run game was pretty ineffective, but is Sam Pittman concerned about it?
Well, we couldn't get to their safeties. We didn't get great movement on our inside runs, but we couldn't get to their safeties, which was probably the reason why we're making a lot of yards throwing the football. I do think Dan probably could have thrown it quite a bit more, but we also have work to do in the run game, but I think you'll see a little bit of combination of both, Trey. I think you'll see that we didn't block them as well as what we want to, and safeties made a lot of tackles.
So how did Sam Pittman feel about KJ Jefferson with Dan Enos in their first game together?
We didn't want to run him today much, to be perfectly honest with you. We weren't going to advertise that, but we wanted to see if we had the receivers what we thought we did and things of that nature. And Luke has. I think he caught maybe the first ball of the game. And so, I thought he was really poised. We made a lot about the new, everybody did, including myself. I wondered about it, new coordinator, new coach, all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if we've answered any questions, but I thought he played really well today.
So how did KJ feel about Dan Enos and the emphasis that he made before the game?
I think we did a really good job. I think we came out, we executed the game plan just from our preparation. Just in the previous past, just 11, like early games, we haven't, as an offense, we haven't been starting fast and kind of lingering around and waiting and stuff like that. So I think we came out this week just a big emphasis on starting fast, being urgent, making sure we know what we're doing. So I feel like as a whole offense, I think we came out and executed the game plan.
Arkansas will be playing Kent State this weekend in Fayetteville. Kickoff at 3 p.m. And, of course, you can hear all the Razorback coverage right here on 103.7 The Buzz. And there's your Razor Hog Update presented by True Service. We'll have some other things to talk about. But coming up next, we have Razorback offensive lineman Joshua Braun joining us thanks to Matt Black, Allstate Insurance. We'll get to that and a lot more on the third hour of Out of Bounds coming up next. So stay with us.
Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer has 5 service trucks available, providing you on-site service to get you back on the road. If that doesn't do it, Stacked has a new state-of-the-art 13-bay shop for service and repair on all Class A trucks, trailers, RVs, light and medium-duty commercial vehicles, tires, brakes, AC, engine repair, transmissions, differentials, and driveline repair. Stacked Commercial Truck and Trailer Repair. Get stacked. 2 miles off 530 exit 34 in Whitehall.
If you haven't stopped by Arch Marine lately, you are literally missing the boat. And no boat is complete without a Tohatsu motor. Arch Marine in North Little Rock has them ranging from 3.5 to 140 horsepower. That's Arch Marine in North Little Rock. Take the Levy exit.
At Southern Floor Coating, coatings are all they do, and they won't be beat on price. Factory-trained installers using the purest form of polyurea with UV stability for all your outside projects. When you call, you'll talk with a professional interested in your project, not a voicemail. Don't trust a fly-by-night company that may not be in business next year. Transform your patio, porch, or pool deck and call the real pros at Southern Floor Coating. 501-402-4912 or take a look at southernfloorcoating.com.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
We know it, and we're proud of it. 103.7 The Buzz. Buzz News with Channel 7's Ryan Houston.
Police in Dardanelle are investigating what led to the drowning of a child in the Arkansas River last week. A call for help went out around 4:30 Friday afternoon. First responders arrived to find the child receiving CPR. They then stepped in and rushed the child to the hospital, but that child died. The victim's name and age have yet to be released. In Mayflower, firefighters responded to a large fire at the Mayflower landfill. Multiple agencies were called in to help. They fought the fire from around 2 a.m. until 9:30 Monday morning when it was finally put down. Smoke could be seen for miles. They believe the fire started in a pile of debris from the March 31st tornado, and thankfully, no one was injured. For more news and weather, download the free KTV News and weather apps from the Channel 7 Newsroom. I'm Ryan Houston.
Weather from the Fletcher Weather Center with Channel 7's Melinda Mayo.
A few more hot days before we get some relief at the end of the week. Today, 93 for a high, partly cloudy, and a 20% chance of a few pop-up isolated showers and thunderstorms. A high of 95 tomorrow. From the Channel 7 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Melinda Mayo.
Fletcher Dodge wants to buy your car. We'll buy any make or model, and we'll pay you more than anyone else. Please turn your old car into cash at Fletcher Dodge in Sherwood.
This is Trey Reed from the Wild Side on 103.7 The Buzz, inviting you to join Mark Hedrick and me Tuesday nights at 7 p.m.
Brought to you by West Rock Landing at Lake Maumelle, Edwards Food Giant, All About Tire and Brake, Battery Outfitters, and Trader Bill's Outdoors, Hot Springs, and Little Rock locations.
It's the Wild Side, Tuesday at 7 p.m., only on 103.7 The Buzz.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
3 doors down, Away from the Sun Anniversary Tour. Special guest Candlebox. Friday, September 8th, Simmons Bank Arena. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Trey Schapp and Chris Shinup with you. Chris, the 19th annual Kickoff to Men's Health is coming up.
Yeah, Trey, we're pretty excited. It's coming up. The first one will be September 7th at our Little Rock location, 1300 Centerview Drive.
Men 40 and older, it's time to get screened, is it not?
It is. And, as our CEO, Scott Davis, says, you come in for a free screen and you might win a 65-inch flat screen TV.
263-0926 for more information or ArkansasUrology.com. Guys, you can just show up. All thanks to our presenting sponsor, CHI St. Vincent.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Christy Pettit in Maumelle, Matt Cooper in Russellville, or Madison Buse in England.
Justin Anker reminding you that if you want the job done right, then don't stress. Just go with the best. CertaPro Painters is your go-to painting company. You can get your free estimate scheduled at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. People who are going to be responsible and people who are going to be accountable to you and your family to make sure your project gets done right. So if you've been thinking about sprucing up your home or business for the fall season that is almost upon us, you need to get CertaPro on the case. Use the company that I've used many times over the years. It is CertaPro Painters. You'll be happy you did.
Willie D's Rock and Roll Piano Bar open every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cold drinks and dueling pianos. Deep Nightclub downstairs hosts karaoke on Tuesdays and DJ spin on Friday and Saturday nights. Visit WillieD'sPianoBar.com.
O'Reilly. Do you need new wiper blades but aren't sure which ones are right for you? The professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. We'll show you the best options for your specific vehicle and even install your new wipers for free. And right now, save $10 per pair on Bosch Focus wiper blades, plus get 2 times O-Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios, this is Out of Bounds.
We've got to play a whole lot of people, and we haven't been able to do that much since I've been here. And the wonderful thing about that is that the second team had some threes, picked a pass and scored. They basically won 7-3 when they went in, and the second team offense went down and scored. And, we've gotten away from did I get to play or not? It's how well did you play?
Yeah. With John Nabors.
Every time you put a mic in my face, I'm going to say Arkansas.
And Joe Franklin.
We won't go in the shell. We're going to go in attack mode because that's what's required.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. I know that it's good. Would you sit it on my taste buds? I get way too bendy once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block and break it down. We playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Eat up your per diem. You just gotta hate them phone. If I quit your BM, I still rock Mercedes phone. If I quit this season, I still be the greatest phone. My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Nabors, Joe Franklin, broadcasting live from the Hoggs Meat Market Studios with you today. And thank you as always for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. It has been a fun-filled show and a Reaction Tuesday presented by Fleet Management Services. Been talking a lot about the Razorback football game against Western Carolina, as well as other things going on in college football, because that's what this past weekend was all about. But you got to turn the page to the next one. As we know, NFL starts up this weekend too. So it's going to be full-fledged football mode throughout the entire weekend and the rest of football season. It's just so amazing that it's finally here. But we also know that with our deals that we've had here on Out of Bounds and just as a station in general on 103.7 The Buzz, we've had the ability, because of NIL, to have Razorback athletes joining us here on our shows. We've had it for football and for basketball and for baseball. And we are fortunate enough here on Out of Bounds to have Joshua Braun, who is the offensive lineman starting right guard for Arkansas. Big old boy, but he's from Florida, who transferred in from the Gators and has made an impact already. And he is going to be joining us each and every week here on Out of Bounds, thanks to Matt Black's Allstate Insurance. So we're really excited to hear from him. So let's go ahead and welcome in the man himself and get to our interview with Josh Braun.
Offensive lineman Josh Braun is brought.
So Razorbacks take care of business in game one against Western Carolina in convincing fashion. And we're going to talk so much more about it because we have a very special guest here on Out of Bounds today. It is the starting offensive lineman for the Razorbacks, Josh Braun, who is brought to you, of course, by Allstate Insurance, Matt Black. You can call him at 501-851-1038. And Josh, appreciate you joining us. Glad that we were able to make this work where you can join us every week here on Out of Bounds. And also glad that you're 1-0 at this point in time in the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure and an honor, and very thankful to be 1-0. Never want to take a win for granted, no matter who's it's against and what happens during the game. It's a special thing.
All right, so let's start with one quick thing, because I see as Josh, but all your social media says Joshua. So which one do you go by more on? What's the thing?
So it's really up to you. As I like to say, it's dealer's choice. I'll answer to Josh or Joshua. It's your preference. In football matters, I try to go as Josh because I think the monosyllabic words tend to hang more in the audience's mind. But in academics and for what I want to do after football, I tend to steer more towards Joshua. So I guess Josh for football, Joshua for professional.
All right, sounds good. Now all the audience can know whenever they see you out and about what to call you out as. But so let's start with the game. Obviously, people have been excited about the season. I know you've been excited since transferring here to Arkansas to really get this season kicked off. And it's not to say everything's perfect because no game really is, but being able to go out there and take care of your opponent 56-13 and really just setting the tone so early and never looking back. Just how do you feel about your own individual performance as well as the team's performance in this first game?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. It's games are different than practice. In practice, everything is it's like a firefight. Everything happens very fast. You have small reaction time windows. And then when you get to the game, the adrenaline kicks in. You actually realize where you're at in the moment. And me and Patrick Kudis were talking about it. It kind of slows down, and you're able to just move throughout the moment, throughout the time during the game. And so it's just something that you have to get used to. A game atmosphere is very different than practice. And being so far removed from consistently playing, I definitely needed to throughout the game to get accustomed to that. And I think I did. The first and second quarters, I was kind of just sort of feeling my way through it. As one coach liked to say, I play with blinders on, and I have to make a conscious effort to open the blinders up and see the full picture. And so after the first few drives, I was able to open up more and just relax and play through the game. And so I definitely think that's a step I'll take going into this next game that will aid in my ability to play.
Now, one thing that I know was maybe surprising to me and a lot of people is because everyone was so excited to see what the offense was going to do with first-year offensive coordinator here at Arkansas during Sam Pittman's era of Dan Enos and passing and rushing and the balance and everything. And everyone knows how good Rocket Sanders is and how great of a running back core that you guys have. I think maybe people were surprised that the rushing attack really wasn't able to get going. I know Sam Pittman mentioned in his press conference that was something that needed to get worked on. But what do you think was going on to maybe why the running attack couldn't really get going the way that you guys wanted? Was it something that Western Carolina was doing? Was it something that y'all were unable to get going? Just what was the overall vibe there?
Well, as you said, all the fans know that we have a great rushing attack. I think everyone in the country knows that Rocket Sanders is one of the best running backs in the country. And so if you're going to face our offense, what's the first thing that you're going to think of? I mean, Arkansas is smash mouth football from the beginning. And so your main goal is going to be stop the run. And what Coach Enos has allowed us to do is we're not a one-dimensional offense. If you're going to stop the run, then we're just going to beat you through the passing game. And so although we would have liked to have a better rushing attack, it was the first game and they were doing everything they could to stop the run. And so we just had to rely more on passing. And so this next game, if they want to stop the pass and make us run because maybe they don't think we can do it, well, then we're going to beat them with the run game. And so you're just going to see that throughout the weeks that we're not one-dimensional. We have a plethora of weapons on offense, and we're going to utilize each of them to their fullest capabilities.
So mentioning KJ Jefferson, I mean, he had an incredible game. I mean, I think he completed the first 12 passes of the game and really finished strong. And everyone knows, how KJ and what he's capable of. But now you've been in practice and being in a game now, seeing what he was able to do. Just what did you make of his overall performance and what he is able to do once you go up against another team that's not someone in practice?
I guess I would sum it up with just cool, calm, and collected. I mean, he's confident in his abilities. He knows who he is, and he's willing to rely on every facet of his game that he needs to. Having him back in the pocket is definitely it gives me more confidence as an offensive lineman, just to know that I have a playmaker back there that if I give him time, he's going to make the plays that need to be made.
So, Josh, now just looking at the game itself, too. So I'm always curious as a player. People talk about the heat, the humidity. I think it's just that way in a lot of parts of the country. I mean, you played in Florida, so you probably know a little bit about how warm it can get. But was that any sort of thing that played into the play or impacted the team at all as far as the heat and the humidity and everything on Saturday?
I would say you would always have to take the heat into consideration. I think Brady Latham told me that they announced on TV that it was 105 degrees on the turf. Me personally, I've never played that hot of a game. It was a dry heat, as John Panette would like to say. But so that's something I need to get accustomed to. I was having a little trouble just catching my breath because it was so dry. But yeah, I mean, 105-degree heat on the turf, it's rough. First game of the season, we're going to have some growing pains with that. But as the season moves on, it shouldn't be a problem.
Also, Josh, I'm curious because, this game being in Little Rock, it's a unique situation, and this is your first game at War Memorial Stadium. And, knowing what the travel was like and all that, can you kind of just walk us through Saturday for you guys, or at least Friday night into Saturday, as far as travel, walkthroughs, just what was that schedule like throughout the entire game day experience?
Yeah, so we got to the facility around 11. I did some treatment, and then we had our usual pre-practice meetings and walkthroughs, and then we boarded the buses around 2:30, and then drove the 3 hours to Little Rock. Got there about 5:30, then we had dinner, and I would say we were done with football responsibilities around 8:15, 8:30, and then we had bed check at 9:30. And so the night before a game, I try to relax my mind and we've put in so much effort and so much work throughout the week. Coach Enos likes to say, just win Monday through Friday. And so Friday night before a game, I try to take myself out of it. I've done the work throughout the week that I need to do to prepare for the game. Now that I know that I need to relax my body and my mind so that I'm mentally prepared and not fatigued to play on Saturday. So I try to just relax for about 30 minutes and then go to bed so I'm well rested. And then I like to wake up early on game days. So I wake up about an hour to an hour and a half before wake-up call. And so on Saturday morning, since it was a noon kickoff, we had pregame meal, I want to say at about 8 o'clock. And then, so I woke up at 6 a.m. Well, actually, I intended to wake up at 6 a.m. I woke up at 5 a.m. and just could not go to sleep. I think I was excited. I woke up at 5. And then what I like to do is I put in my headphones. I listen to worship music as I walk down to either the lobby or whatever the football hub is at that hotel. And then I get a cup of coffee from the meal room, and I just find a quiet corner and I sit and I listen to a sermon. Right now I'm listening to sermons that were from the church I attended in Gainesville. And so I listen to a sermon, which is about 45 minutes, drink some coffee, and then just have some quiet time before the game, just me and the Bible and God, and just give the day up to him, know that he protects me and guides my every step. And then once that time has come to an end, and pregame meal is about to start, I then rejoin the team. We go into pregame meal, and it's all business from there.
Well, that's really fascinating because I kind of want to go back to that because, you think about when players have certain routines that they go through and, whether it's certain, music to get them amped up and excited or, having to put their socks on a certain way. I mean, a lot of superstitions that could happen. But you're talking about, listening to worship music and listening to a sermon, which I think a lot of people will respect and appreciate. So, is it just more of a calming type thing, or is it more of just a motivational? Like, what kind of mood does that get you in and ready, obviously, to go play a college football game?
I think for me personally, I get very nervous before games. I don't like the randomness, the unpredictability of the game. As people say, anything can happen in a football game, and I don't like that aspect of it. I like to control things. I like things to go a certain way. I'm very routine. You can ask my wife. I plan everything out, and if things don't go according to plan, I glitch, and the whole day is ruined. And so I just have to take that time, and I offer it up to the Lord, just knowing that he plans all things go according to his plan, and all things ultimately are for our benefit and humanity's benefit as a whole. And that just quiets my nerves, calms my heart, and lets me approach the game knowing that it's in his hands, win or lose.
We're speaking with Joshua Braun here on Out of Bounds, thanks to Allstate Insurance for Matt Black. And now, Josh, looking kind of towards this week, obviously you got another game in front of you. You get to return home to Fayetteville against Kent State. Before we actually get into Kent State themselves, just looking at this week, what are some things that, as you and also just the offensive line in general, is going to be the focus, things that you guys are really going to work on? Because I always say the biggest improvements from game 1 to game 2. So what are the things that you as an offensive line unit is going to try to work and improve on this week?
I mean, that's definitely true. I think you're going to see an improvement across the board just with the physicality that we're playing with. That's definitely going to be a crucial point that we're going to hit in practice. Just being physical, being nasty, chasing after the ball. And once again, I think our running game was limited last week, and so I'm hoping that we are able to punish them in the run game a little bit, just open up all facets of our offense, and we're definitely going to be harping on that in practice. So just the physicality and just the mental aspects of everything.
So what's the schedule look like? Is it more, do you guys watch a lot of film throughout this week as far as Kent State goes? Do you know much about the matchup itself at this point in time? Just what do you make of that game?
Yeah, so today's Monday night, and so Monday's practice, we the first about hour and a half of meetings, we put Saturday's game to rest. We watched the corrections that we need to make going forward with the offensive plays, and we walked through them. And then after we finished with that, we went into game planning for Kent State. We watched a little bit of their film, and we're definitely we watch film on our own, either tonight or tomorrow morning. And then when we get together as an offense going into meetings pre-practice for Tuesday's practice, we'll also watch more film. And a lot of it's just the personnel of the defensive linemen we're going against, if they have any tells, if they have any tendencies, and then just the tendencies of the defense as a whole.
So I know that this is also kind of an interesting weekend, being the holiday weekend. Do you watch any other college football games when you get an opportunity, when you guys aren't playing? I know that always Saturday it's tough, but since there was games on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday, like, do you get much chance to watch college football, or do you focus on other things?
So I used to focus on other things. I never really watched college football when I was in college, and when I was younger, I would only watch my brother's games. But recently I've had some friends of mine, old teammates who've transferred to schools. One of them transferred to USC, Michael Tarquin, and they played a week 0 game. And so I tried to watch as much of that game as I could. And then I follow along with them. And then I have buddies at Cincinnati, so I was keeping up with their game. And it's definitely the transfer portal, as many people have seen, it allows movement along college football. And so through that, I think you have college athletes across the country that have friends in different divisions and different conferences at different schools that they'll keep in touch with and watch their games. And so I particularly USC, but then all of my other former teammates, NFL and college, I watch them.
So I'm also curious, because since this is our first interview with you here on Out of Bounds, a lot of people just are always interested about the person, the person Josh Braun. And just you talked about how much your faith obviously means so much to you, but outside of football and maybe even outside your faith, what are some things that you like to do? Maybe some hobbies, some stuff that you like to do in your downtime, which I know is not much this fall, but overall, just what do you like to do? So
when I lived in Florida, I was big on free diving. So I had a mask and snorkel and fins, and Florida has a limestone foundation. And so there's freshwater springs that are cold that rise up. And where I lived in Florida, in North Florida, there was tons of them. And so I'd go spring hopping with friends and family. And when I moved to Arkansas, I started reading about the hot springs. And so I've went to some of those. For spring break, me, my wife, and both of our parents went to hot springs, and we did the bathhouses and all of that good stuff. And then we also have hiked Devil's Den. Just being in Arkansas, being the natural state, we really wanted to see all that Arkansas has to offer. And so we've taken up hiking. We've done Devil's Den, Yellow Rock Overlook, and then we went to a place in Van Buren, I believe, that was a waterfall and had like a creek. And so we're definitely, I guess we're hikers now.
Well, there's plenty of places for that in Arkansas for sure. Because, I don't know how much contact or how much you knew about Arkansas before you transferred here, but was it maybe a little bit different or surprising when you got here to see, like, man, this is not what you expected, maybe?
It was, I had many misconceptions when I first started the recruiting process with Arkansas. But I'm very pleased to see what the state truly is. And I got to tell you, we're falling in love with it the more we live here. My wife's a Florida girl through and through, but I think I'm making her an Arkansan.
Okay, well, again, I don't mean to keep you, because I think it's pretty fascinating. Being married as a college football player is I would say, pretty much a rarity. And how is that dynamic going when – I'm sure it's going really well, especially if she's around you right now. But, how does that work into the whole thing of being a college football player, but also being married? It seems pretty unique.
Yeah. So it definitely is unique. Fortunately for me, I had an older brother who was married for the last year of his eligibility in college. So the groundwork was set, so to speak. And so I had a decent idea of how to navigate it, just the football and the marriage part. But I mean, everybody who's married knows that it's definitely a transition. And so in the first year of our marriage, we moved halfway across the country, which is difficult for anybody. And so it definitely brought us closer together, made us rely on each other more, and just we're thankful for all the times we've had through it.
Well, it's a very unique thing, unique story, and hopefully this is going to be another great chapter in the book that you have of not only your college eligibility, but also just in general of your life. But we look forward to having Josh Braun on with us every week on Out of Bounds throughout the football season, and you can catch him every Tuesday at 2:05 right here on 103.7 The Buzz. But Josh, really appreciate you joining us, man. Good luck this week against Kent State. Stay healthy out there, and hopefully we're catching up with you next week talking about another Razorback win.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on.
Interior, exterior, commercial, and residential painting. Hire the pros at Serta Pro Painters. Get your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Serta with a C.
This is Sports Center.
Arkansas took care of business over the weekend, beating Western Carolina 56-13. Coach Sam Pittman spoke to the media yesterday about what he saw from the offensive line in Game 1.
I wish we would have knocked them off the ball more. We had opportunities in some double teams, and I felt like our shoulder angle was off. To be specific with you, when the linebacker and the combinations behind you, you got to stay vertical as you can, and you got to work that more. That's one of the things we've got to clean up.
Arkansas now turns the page to Kent State, who they host in Fayetteville on Saturday. The Golden Flashes lost to the Knights of UCF 56-6 in Week 1. Kickoff time for the game will be at 3 p.m. TV coverage will be on SEC Network. Radio coverage will be on The Buzz. I'm Christian Weaver with The Buzz Radio Network. Edgar Award-winning author and Arkansas native E.Y. Craner joins the zone every Tuesday courtesy of Jackalope Cycling. Jackalope Cycling in Russellville is there with bike rentals and service, camping gear, fishing accessories, whatever gets you excited about the outdoors. E.Y. Craner Tuesday in the Zone, brought to you by Jackalope Cycling. Check them out online at jackalopecycling.com.
Not again.
Let me tell you about my man Tom. He had some serious bad luck. And one day he said to me,
"When is my luck gonna change?"
And I was like, "You need to go to Tunica, bro." And he was like,
"Yeah, good idea, bro."
Tom was winning big money. People were cheering and kisses. My man was like,
"This is amazing."
His losing streak was finally over.
Man, I cannot believe my luck.
Believe it, because when you're in Tunica, you're always a winner.
Fort Thompson's in Sherwood is paying your sales tax. 2 days only, September 8th and 9th. Everything included: guns, clothes, waders, boots, stands, decoys. Get ready for hunting season at Fort Thompson's in Sherwood. Visit ftthompson.com.
Hi, I'm Rick Pennington of Lions Drug.
We have great news. Generic Cialis is now available at a huge savings. We have Tadalafil, the FDA-approved generic of Cialis, in a 20 milligram tablet at a savings of up to 80%. We have the 5 milligram daily tablets for less than $3 a pill. Lions Drug continues to be your go-to pharmacy for men's health. What are you waiting for? Call us today at 844-676-2247 or go to our website at lionsdrug.com.
Attention seafood lovers, Eat My Catfish is back open in Little Rock. The new Eat My Catfish in Riverdale is located in the Riverdale Shopping Center beside the movie theater and Ace Hardware. Eat local, eat fresh, Eat My Catfish.
Chosen as one of Arkansas's best places to work 8 years in a row, Rainwater Holt & Sexton is hiring premier paralegals and legal assistants at all locations: Little Rock, Conway, Hot Springs, Bryant, Jacksonville, and Springdale. Rainwater Holt & Sexton's mission is to compassionately represent injured and disabled Arkansans. With generous benefits and competitive pay, Rainwater Holt & Sexton is a destination employer hiring the best. Apply today at callrainwater.com.
The Angie's List you know and trust is now Angie, and we're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Make your tailgate the party of the parking lot by getting the best meats in all of Arkansas at Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people. You're listening to Out of Bounds with John Nabors and Joe Franklin.
I bet you slice into the woods $100. Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slice. Yeah! Okay, you can owe me.
On 103.7 The Buzz.
Ain't got no money, no fancy car, ain't got no excuses, baby, hanging out the bar. I don't know you a thing, baby, I don't know you a thing, I don't know you a thing, baby, I don't know you a thing. Well, we ain't getting married, I ain't buying you no diamond ring, that's alright. Ain't got no credit, no fancy clothes, ain't got no excuses, baby, for goodness knows. I don't know you a thing, baby, I don't know you a thing, I don't know you a thing, baby, I don't know you a thing. Well, we ain't getting married, I ain't buying you no diamond ring.
It's Out of Bounds here on a Reaction Tuesday. We talk a lot of things college football, and it's always great to have it back, but I got to tell you, as great as it is to have the football season back, there's probably a lot of you that are getting in the mood to get out there and start mixing it up a little bit when it comes to tailgating, right? So maybe you probably had a really good time at the War Memorial tailgate. Maybe you're going to be tailgating in Fayetteville this weekend too. But here's the key. You don't want to be that tailgate that doesn't have a nice vehicle to make the tailgate happen. Well, luckily with Guadney Chevrolet in Jacksonville, that is no issue because they have plenty of inventory on great vehicles to make the tailgate the tailgate of everything when it comes to Razorback sports. So think about when you're going around and trying to find you a nice truck, right? You're saying, all right, what can we do here? What can we look at? Well, you're going to be bouncing all around. You're not going to know what to go with. Well, how about this? For a Chevy Silverado right now, 1.9% APR and $6,000 total cash allowance. You get a choice there too. How about when you trade in an eligible vehicle? you get $3,500 total cash allowance plus $2,500 trade assistance. That is on a 2023 Chevy Silverado Turbo Max vehicle. Those things are freaking sweet, and they look good too. But they also have the same thing going on with a Chevy Equinox 2023 1.9% APR, as well as $1,250 cash allowance. And that's just one or two of the many deals that they have. So you got to check them out today. They're right there in Jacksonville, conveniently located off the Gregory Street exit. You can check them out by entering into your phone the address of 1301 TP White Drive. See them that way too. And if you're, maybe a little bit busy, that's okay. You can go to Guadney Chevrolet and see the deals too. But it's always better to go in person to check it out, see their award-winning sales team, as they'll get you in a vehicle that you want and that you can afford. So no matter what it is, you better choose Arkansas's #1 Chevy dealer. It's Guadney Chevrolet and GuadneyChevrolet.com. Again, it's been a great reaction Tuesday. Thanks to Fleet Management Services, as we've been going through all the reactions of the college football weekend in general, and really appreciate Josh Braun joining us in the previous segment. And thanks to Matt Black's Allstate Insurance for making that possible. I thought it was really fascinating, or at least there's a lot of things that stood out to me. But one of the things is, I think Randall said on our Southern Structural Solutions text line, I kind of made a joke about it. He's like, well, we don't have to worry about Braun getting in any trouble after game days. It's like, nope, because that guy, and I respect him. I don't know if people heard him say it, but he's married. He's got a wife. And, for being a 22-year-old kid, I think is what he is, being married, he's been married for a while. And she moved with him to Arkansas, which, they're Florida people. Like
she helped make the choice to go to Arkansas.
Yeah. Like to know that it's like almost like a family thing. And talking with him, he's very mature for his age. And talked about before the games, some people like to listen to the pump up music and get you pumped up and excited. And he's listening to sermons and listening to worship music. So his religion is a very big deal to him and his faith. So that was really cool. But good talking with him, and a very, really smart guy that has a bright future in front of him. So we look forward to catching up with him each and every Tuesday, I guess it'll be.
Richard Davenport actually wrote an article about how the Razorbacks sold the program not only on Joshua Braun, but on his wife, and that it was a big decision for the two of them to come to Arkansas. And as he mentioned, that Coach Sam Pittman made an impression on him, and they have a relationship going back to when he was being recruited. But it helps that his wife was on board with it also.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably one of the things that you can't just say, oh, hey, hon, I'm going to Arkansas, whether you like it or not. It's probably not the way that the relationship would stand firm. But, he'd never been to Arkansas before he committed to Arkansas and decided to transfer here. And he loves it. He's big on hiking. He's big on being outdoors and checking it out. So really interesting guy with a lot of great insights. So we look forward to that. And we have a few players that will be on all of our shows here on 103.7 The Buzz, and hopefully continue to work more towards some other players that are trying to get on board with us here to do some interviews on 103.7 The Buzz. So pretty awesome. Let's see. On our Southern Structural Solutions text line, we got a few people that have been chiming in. From the 870, it says, John and Joe, really enjoyed meeting you guys at the Buzz tailgating party. Thanks for the pictures and the kindness. Listen every single day. Woo Big Stewie.
Oh, yeah. Really appreciate you coming out. And
Absolutely.
It was a great time at the Buzz tailgate party.
It was a great time. And there was people there early, and people turned out. And again, it was like, I guess when we were talking about it, Joe was like, man, that weather was so nice in that morning. I got spoiled almost. It was perfect with the cloud cover, a little slight breeze, but everybody was having a good time out there with the tailgating. And because I walked through some of the areas there on I keep wanting to call it the golf course. I'm going to keep calling the golf course until it's something else.
War Memorial Park.
The park. Yeah, we'll say that. The park. Going through the park there, seeing all the people tailgating and having a good time, and the lines that were just rolled up there and people who traveled in. That was a great atmosphere out there. And I know people really enjoyed the tailgating scene. And after the game ended, a lot of people went back out there to continue on the tailgate.
And there were people that stayed out there while the game was going on, which is always a great time.
Oh, yeah. Because that's the thing is, like, if you're someone that doesn't have tickets but you love to tailgate, just do that. I know people that do that all over the place, where it's like they just love the vibe of tailgating because you get to have your own food and your own drinks, and you bring it out and you get to do what you want. And then now with technology, you can have a TV set up to where you can watch the games. You can have a chair of your choosing that you want to sit back in, and don't have to deal with all the concession stand lines and all that. Like,
just make it like home.
Yeah. It's just out. It's like outside, and you're right next to the stadium. So you hear the roar of the crowds, and you still get to be feeling part of the party and part of the atmosphere. But yeah, it was great meeting everybody out there at the Buzz tailgate, and glad that everybody was able to make it out. And let's see. Tony in Texas says, "Hey guys, great interview with Joshua. He was a great sounding kid, easy to root for." From Tony Hogg in Texas. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, he was really great there. And Tyler and Cabot says, "Had a great conversation with John Nabors and an awesome time at the Buzz party." Yeah, Tyler, got to meet you there. That was great to hang out. And in fact, that was something else that in meeting Tyler, he's like, "Oh, I'm Tyler and Cabot," as in like the text line guy, because that's how we have it set up. So I'm like, yeah, we need to have those almost like nameplates. Like, just tell us who your texting name is, so then we can put a face to the person there.
It is always fun coming across and meeting people that we've talked to or heard from and never have had a chance to see them in person. But once you get that face to face, it's always cool.
Oh, very cool. And this guy, 501, says, "John sat right in front of us, had a good conversation. He was told he needed to move because he was in someone else's seat." Well, yeah. Here's
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the stadium, not in the press box, huh?
No. I like going to the games. I like being in the atmosphere. Like, I'll do that for basketball and baseball, being in the press box, but like I like going to football games and being in there in the crowd. It's fun, and tailgating and all of that. But yeah, fun story about that. So I was in someone else's seat. Me and my buddy were, but we got there right before kickoff, and it's packed, and there's a lot of people there that are kind of crammed in. And I was in the right section. I was in the right row, and we had 2 seats, but there was only 2 seats left that were on that row. So I'm like, okay, that had to be ours. And I was trying to look at the numbers, but the numbers were faded on the bleachers, so I couldn't see which numbers. But I'm like, well, okay, this has to be ours though. Says there's only 2 seats open. So we sit down, and this couple comes up there. I go, "You're at 18 and 19. I was like, I have no idea what they are. And she's like, "Yeah." And then
she pointed right to it. There's 18, there's 19.
No, she made the person get up next to us and say, "What seat are you in?" And they got up, and it said 17 underneath. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Well, and I looked down. I was like, "Okay, I think these people are over there in our seats." But it was the middle of the game, and it was like,
so everybody had to squeeze in.
Yeah. Well, no, we just ended up walking out of that row because like we couldn't know who was where. And then again, people trying to watch the game. You don't want to be the people standing in front of everybody and trying to go through the rows. It was just whatever. But we were like, hey, it's not that big of a deal. We'll just go find some other seats. And we actually did. And it was actually up the top. But the great thing about it was with the Jumbotron or the TV screen. So the shade was there. So it ended up working out in the best. But yeah, thanks for calling me out there, 501, acting like I'm trying to be that guy coming down there stealing good seats or something, man. But
hey, it's a lot of people that are that guy or that person, but when somebody knows who you are, it does make it kind of funny.
I know. That's why I always got to be careful of and not run my mouth towards anybody. Let's see, Asher Recker Live fan feedback. This comes from Football Fanatic. He says, "Guys, which was the most shocking over the holiday weekend? Coach Prime's Colorado team win over TCU, Mike Norvell's Florida State dismantling of LSU, or the Duke win over Clemson for the first time since 1988?
Most surprising?
Yeah.
Duke over Clemson.
Most shocking, I guess.
Yeah. So, it had to be Duke because not shocked by Colorado, not shocked by Florida State, but the way that Florida State was able to put up so many points and shut out LSU in the second half may have been a little bit surprising, but just the way that Duke was able to handle their business, the way they did, that had to be the most shocking.
Yes.
If you're choosing between those 3.
Yeah, 7 points. You kidding me? Like for Clemson? Yeah, that nobody could have expected that one. And this comes from Stats Guy. It says Allen Morris since 2018. 2018, 2-10 at Arkansas. 2019, 2-8 at Arkansas, fired in season. 2020, OC at Auburn, fired at the season end. 2021, head coach at Allen High School, 84 win streak, game win streak snapped instantly. 2022 on staff at USF, where they went 1-11, and at Clemson as an offensive analyst loses their first game to Duke. So what are you trying to say there, Stats Guys? You're saying there's some sort of reason or connection with Chad Morris and how teams just start to lose and not be as good when he's on the staff? Is that what you're referring to? Might be something to it, but hey, if Clemson really starts having a bad problem this season, and all the jokes are going to get made.
They were already bad on offense going back to last year, though.
Oh, yeah. But you need a finger to point to. And Razorback fans are fine pointing at Chad Morris.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got one final segment here on Out of Bounds. It's 3 and Out. Close up shop, get you ready for drive time sports. All coming up next.
Greenway is your local source for John Deere equipment and implements. Now, we've made finding the perfect piece of equipment even easier. Shop our tractor packages online at gogreenway.com. Till deeper with our down-to-earth package. Or save big with our Green Saver package. Need something with a little more muscle? Kick it up a notch with Greenway's Get In Gear package. We're here to support the DIYer in you. No matter what project comes your way, Greenway has you covered.
You know, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Hey everybody, it's RJ Hawk. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right back into your joints to restore and repair that damaged tissue without surgery. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a new alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall moving around pain-free, doing the things that you love again, like walking, hiking, or even playing with those grandkids. Call QC Kinetics today for that free consultation. 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. 501-222-8440.
Football fans, tailgate season is here, which means it's time to score touchdowns and savings for your vehicle. At All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros, we offer incredible deals and service like your daddy used to get, with the financing options that fit your budget. With our team by your side, you'll get MVP service along with the traction and confidence you need to stay on the road. Visit us online today at allabouttireandbrake.com. All About Tire and Brake Tire Pros. Love the drive.
Bank OZK has always strived for excellence. During every economic storm, through every season of hardship, and despite every obstacle, we've reached for greater. Because we know to achieve excellence, you've got to keep pushing, keep building, keep growing, and just keep going. At Bank OZK, we're reaching for greater heights so you can be greater than you can imagine. Visit a branch or OZK.com today. Bank OZK. Greater awaits. Member FDIC.
This cardboard order, is it up to date?
Camila's Recyclable Coffee Cup Factory can no longer be considered a grande.
Redesign? It's at the printer.
She needs more designers to jump the business to a triple shot.
Client wants to see several more design options. The logo's gotta be bigger.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Of course, you have many options when it comes to great dining options downtown, but there's only one, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, still offering a wide selection of all your favorite special craft cocktails, including beer and wine, and a menu featuring gourmet salads and delicious pastas. And Dizzy's is also the multiple-time winner of the World Cheese Dip competition. With a dog-friendly patio, a funky eclectic atmosphere, and room for large parties with reservations, Dizzy's will have you coming back again and again. Since 1995, Dizzy's Gypsy Bistro, Dizzy'sLR.com.
Have a watch party that everyone wants to attend at your house with the best of meats in the business. Hoggs Meat Market, the steak people.
Kane is in the building.
Their time is done. It's over.
Over? Did you say over?
Nonsense. I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone. I play real sports. Not trying to be the best at exercising.
It's time for 3 and Out. It's been 3 hours, and we are
boom out of here.
All right, it is time for 3 and Out. A few headlines, a few storylines, a few things that we got to dive into. First off, a shout out to Jerry Jones. You know, Jerry Jones, the owner and GM of the Cowboys, because we had the whole story of Trey Lance and being traded to the Cowboys, and really sparked some storylines there. Well, as Jerry Jones was on 105.3 The Fan down there in Dallas. Of course, he does those interviews all the time. He said because he's owner and GM, he can make quick decisions like trading for Trey Lance. He said he already had all the information he needed, so he didn't have to speak with anyone else before making the move. And in a full quote, he says, I didn't have to send it around. I can make that trade in 5 minutes. So when you talk about Jerry Jones, hear the old adage, it's good to be the king. That's Jerry. He doesn't have to send it to anybody. He doesn't have to talk to anybody. He's Jerry Jones, and he's going to make the move in 5 minutes if he wanted to make the move.
Yeah, if you're the GM, you don't have to talk to the owner because you're the owner and GM, president, all at the same time. It only makes sense. Team USA basketball in the FIBA tournament, they lost to Lithuania in pool play, 110-104. But they already had a spot in the quarterfinals, so it just affected their seeding where they were the 2 seed coming from their group as opposed to being the 1 seed. Well, as the 2 seed, they matched up against Italy, and they got a win against Italy 100-63, so they move on. And now they're in the semifinals where their next opponent will be either Germany or Latvia. But going back to the game against Lithuania was just on fire from 3, and Austin Reeves' brother, Spencer, he played with one of the Lithuanian players, and he told him to talk trash to Austin during the game. And actually, there was a play that was pointed out where he made the play on Austin and even got an N1 because he got fouled, and he did kind of let Austin hear about it. But then Spencer posted where he's looking for possible rematch in the championship game with USA and Lithuania. The way that Lithuania looked shooting threes, they look to be on track to get into that championship game.
So if we have any listeners that are on our live stream or on our video stream that are in the Cincinnati area that happen to be of the female persuasion, you're in luck because a Cincinnati bar is offering a, quote, sad girl shot amid Joe Burrow's engagement rumors. And they said to help grieving fans, Joey Burrow admirers, the Filson is offering a special shot only priced at 9 cents. So if you're someone who's really disappointed and upset that Joe Burrow is officially off the market, at least of the rumors, you can go over there to the Filson there in Cincinnati, and you can get hammered drunk on 9-cent shots, which I am sure of the highest quality, and you can make that happen. But glad to know that they're there for the people of Cincinnati, especially for the females that wanted Joe Burrow so bad.
Speaking of marriage, Jeannie Buss, owner of the Lakers, has gotten married to comedian Jay Moore. They had a wedding on the beach where they had about 20 close friends and family members in attendance. So they got engaged at the end of last year, but now they are officially married, getting married on the beach.
Am I crazy? I guess I didn't even know that Jay Moore and her were a thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she moved on from Phil Jackson, even though she still leans on him for basketball advice, but now her and Jay Moore are an item.
Jay Moore is going to be taken care of for the rest of his life. He's good to go. We know that college football week 1 ended, but there's going to be some interesting matchups in heading into week 2. One of them, if not the biggest one, is Texas and Alabama, a rematch of what was a great game last year, but this is going to be in Tuscaloosa. But those of you who don't remember, when Alabama traveled to Texas, it was a controversy, if you will. Alabama didn't bring their band, and the reason being is because Texas decided to change their policy where opposing fans and band and everybody got sat up on the upper deck in the corner with the worst seats you could possibly have. Some people said that was petty. Some people said that it was hilarious. Well, there you go. Alabama has decided, you know what, they're going to instill the same policy. They said, according to Tuscaloosa News, Texas isn't in the SEC yet, which means that the SEC regulation for tickets for visitors doesn't apply to Alabama in their football matchup. So Alabama doesn't have to meet the SEC requirement of at least 2,000 visiting tickets in the lower level of a stadium. And Alabama won't because all 5,000 visitor tickets, which include seats for the band, will be in the upper deck. Greg Byrne, the athletic director, said, we were able to reciprocate a similar seating arrangement to what we had last year in Austin. So a little pettiness there, but the budding of a rivalry between these two teams, which will probably play each other very often once Texas joins the conference.
Singer Cher said she stays young by wearing jeans and keeping her hair long. She says she can't believe that she's about to be 80 soon. She's 77 years old. She said, I still wear my jeans and wearing long hair. I remember my friend Paulette and I were talking, and they said that at one time they were going to cut their hair. They were going to stop wearing jeans just because in those days, that's what it seemed like women did for the most part. She said, but she hasn't hit that yet, and it seems to be keeping her young.
So we know that there's always some interesting comments being made by coaches when it comes to certain situations coming off the field and whatnot. But Chip Kelly, he was somebody that was none too happy with the changes that some things have been going on in college football, particularly the clock changes. And here's what he had to say when he was asked about it.
Quarterbacks, we saw both Ethan, Dante get into the end zone. How would you evaluate your QB so far?
I think they both did a good job. I'm sure Garbs wants the one back down here. But this new rule that's crazy. We had 4 drives in the first half. This game goes fast. Hope you guys are selling a lot of commercials.
And they just walked off the field.
Back to you guys.
Yeah, so I guess Chip Kelly doesn't seem like he's overly too big of a fan of that new change. But I'm sure they did sell plenty of commercials, and they're still making a lot of money. And that money is going to be going to the school that you're coaching at, too, in the Big Ten. So just remember that.
Woman in Tennessee, Tammy Manis, has the world record for the longest mullet. It's 5 feet, 8 inches long. She's been growing it for 33 years, so she does have the Guinness World Record. She said that she did at one time start growing a mullet. She cut it and immediately regretted it. And so she grew it back. And from that time on, she hasn't cut it. And now she has the Guinness Book of World Records, 5 feet, 8 inches long mullet.
Does it say how tall she is? Like, is it like dragging on the ground?
It does not say how tall she is, but her hair is not dragging the ground. So maybe she's a little bit taller than that.
Amazonian over there. Speaking of something crazy, this we know the cost of living has been going up, and it's forced people to get creative when it comes to their living situation. Well, how about this from a woman in Australia, Monique Jeremiah? She came up with the idea of hotbedding during the pandemic when her income dried up and she was looking for some extra cash. So the Australian woman rents out half of her bed for $631 a month, declaring it the perfect solution for those feeling lonely and poor. So you're probably like, oh, there must be some, hanky-panky going on. No, that's part of the deal is nothing happens. You just sleep next to her. So don't know how that goes, but $631 a month? I don't know what the bed looks like or what the situation is, but I don't know. That seems like quite the risk, but she's apparently doing really well in it and making a lot of money.
Metallica is making some news. They've had to cancel a couple of shows because of an illness, but also they had a concert in Inglewood on August 25th where it seemed like a dog was able to sneak into the show and actually was sitting in a seat. Now, it's not known as to whether somebody brought the dog in or the dog just happened to walk in.
Yeah, if I saw something like that, I would just assume that it was a stray. But hey, that's how it goes in those concerts. But speaking of crazy things with flying too, a Delta flight forced an emergency landing where they were on their way from Atlanta to Barcelona. Halfway, had to turn around because somebody had a bad case of diarrhea. That would suck if you were on that flight, but it would also suck even more if you were on that flight with the diarrhea. So. Good way to end the show. Appreciate everybody listening in Out of Bounds today. For Joe Franklin, I'm John Nabors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Stay tuned. We got Drive Time Sports coming up next.
Oaklawn Racing Casino Resort presents Oaklawn Game Day. It's an inside look at the week's big games, exciting prop bets, and